home along on a Friday night. Just remember.
You're awesome.
Hello everyone, welcome on this, I guess, technically not a Friday night anymore. We're recording this 20 minutes after midnight. We're doing another replay analysis. This is a ladder B match.
So this is a match, as you can see from the screen, between Ignis and Cat. Generally, based on past tournament results, Cat would have been seeded in ladder A. But however, due to, I guess, his last tournament results were kind of just on the edge of putting him in ladder B. So this time he's taken that opportunity to try out a sub-character that he hasn't really learned too much of yet. As you'll see, he'll be playing Aya. And
Well known for his dash C Rainbow.
that's true. Yes, he's normally quite a powerful Reimu, very experienced. Tends to
Veteran
know,
player.
yeah, veteran player. He knows all the kind of, I guess, nooks and crannies of the intricacies of how to play Reimu. So I guess we'll see how this kind of general ability built from Reimu will carry over when
On the
played
other
on
side, we
his
have. And on the other side, we have Ignis, who's also playing a character that they haven't been playing for their entire career. Ignis has been messing around with Alice lately. Notably, used to be a Udonge player. I think Ignis is like playing both, kind of lately.
Yeah, it seems pretty even. Udonge and Alice.
Ignis's Udonge is definitely a lot more tech proficient, but Ignis definitely knows how to play the game as Alice. And I think maybe in the long term, dual landing is the way to go. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's if he's having fun, that's the most
all that
important
matters,
thing.
really. Having fun's the most important. Don't end up washed up and not playing the game like me. Just have fun.
So yes, it's good to see Ignis playing a character he enjoys.
Yeah.
So okay, with that, let's first outline what we hope to see these players gain from, as well as any other player just watching. What we'd hope they'd take away from watching this replay analysis.
So these characters, these players, they both kind of know what they're doing. As we said, they're both not playing the characters that they're the most proficient in. So they kind of have a good game plan idea. They have some fundamentals. They kind of know how things go. We're not gonna focus too hard on. I mean, Kat did ask for like specific tech advice, so we'll go into that a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of like beginner things we're not gonna really stress or focus on or spend too much time on. And instead, we're gonna be talking about some other stuff.
Yeah, so things like I guess in regards to character specifics, like where to use certain moves, where their effectiveness can be most maximized, as well as some, I guess, more specific things like what is a better idea on Oki, what's working, what's not working, that kind of observation for character specific things. And we'd also like to touch on some more higher level concepts like the importance of a game plan, as well as the importance of kind of keeping an eye on all elements of what's going on, like the various different UI elements, health, spirit, weather, for example.
A lot of stuff that isn't really too relevant at a low level, but at a mid level it'll start being the small edges that take you out of
Yeah, that's true. I think these your ability to kind of keep a track of these things will really push you from mid level to higher levels. It's a really useful skill to have, I think. Okay, so with that, I guess we should jump right into it. Okay, so I'll turn off this lovely Friday night song.
Just remember, everyone.
It's the
awesome.
most important thing to remember. Friday night. Okay, so cutting it off now. And back to the normal playlist. And we'll get the video started. Oh, JD, would you like to control the seek bar for this one?
The seek bar?
The video playback.
I don't think I can.
I can transfer it to you. It's just that, do you think it would be better if you did it?
Sure.
Okay. So it's transferred to you. You should now have the ability.
I do have the ability.
Okay, let's get started.
Thank you, Klempfer, for recording this and uploading it for us. As you can see, we've made some upgrades for the on the visual side.
Yeah, we have The frame display. Okay.
Here we go.
That's right. Okay.
So first, neutral players are feeling each other out. That's like, yeah, makes sense. Grazes, good graze to eliminate that thing. But here, this is a bit of a problem. I'm not sure if this is because Cat's used to playing Reimu, and like this is less of a problem with Reimu.
Reimu's J2A is a lot more general purpose. You can kind of stick it out in neutral and it won't get you badly punished since you can land cancel it. But in the case of II, you're really committing to this long animation.
Yeah, it's a really long animation. I'll try and pause it at just the right time. Just to really show.
I mean, it obviously it can have use as like a surprise attack because it really suddenly shifts her momentum.
Yeah. So from here, Cat's up here, and as soon as you press J2A, you're locked into this animation all the way down to here.
It drops all the way down.
And then you have additional landing line when you reach here.
That's true.
So if your opponent's paying attention, if Ignis is here and they see this, Ignis or a high level player would say, "Oh, I need to position myself here to punish."
Yeah, so I guess it just wasn't used at the right place. It was off its mark, and on top of that, it's a pretty risky move considering how high up it was used from.
Yeah.
So it's not a great way to open the match, I guess, especially when I guess both players are still feeling each other out.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what happens next.
Yeah, and this is a pressure decision from Ignis.
Oh, hold on, my
slow it down a
video
bit.
playback needs to sync, I think. Sorry, JD, I'll be refreshing the page.
It's fine. Are you caught up?
It's loading now. 11 seconds in.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
Ignis does 5AA, or does dial A up to the third hit, and tries to string into, was it 2B?
Yes, it's 2B there, I believe. It's just
Yeah,
not
2B.
airtight. Yeah, there you go.
Which is not airtight. Cat jumps out. And here Ignis is going for a J2A catch on the escape, but there's just not really enough frames here, right?
That's right. Because Cat made the jump before blocking that 2B, he was already way out of the range of J2A, and he does a J5B here to, I guess, in anticipation of some kind of high jump melee from Ignis to try to keep him in place. And yeah, it's whatever Ignis did there would be too late, and Cat wins out that exchange.
So I think like at this point, you have to react and say, "Oh, my bullet is not actually like it's not being blocked, so I don't really have the frames to go for this escape."
Yeah.
Even if you did do J6A, which is like a better angle for this situation, you just don't have the frames to play with, and you'll get clipped by this.
Yeah. So in that specific situation, it would have been good if Ignis went for just a C doll, or even just kind of retreating, because he would be pretty minus in that situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along.
Something else comes up pretty quickly.
Oh, and Ignis's inputs are a bit messy. You can see double inputs on the C dolls, as well as lots of A button presses. Just something to keep in mind and try to clean up over time.
Yeah, this stuff here, these multiple A's, just pressing the button when you need it. As we said in the previous review, it's not just getting your input more consistently. It's also about like mentally committing to options for longer than you need to.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely a heavier investment when you're kind of pressing the button a lot of times. It's yeah, I feel like you're more adaptable when you're freed up after pressing it one time. So that's an ideal situation. I know it can be a bit hard, but if you keep it in mind, I'm sure that over time you'll get better.
And here we have something that we might be hearing a lot again this review. He's knocked down, going for double doll, and he just he like hovers here for a little bit, and this lets Cat fly straight out.
Sorry JD, my thing's not catching up very well.
Pause recording.
Yeah, Okay, I'll
Okay, I
pause
think
it
you'll
now.
have to be the one.
One.
Yo, we're back. We had to stop recording. It should just be a second for you guys, but yeah, Klempfer has to be the one who is controlling the
Yeah,
video
sorry.
because it has synchronization problems.
So okay, hopefully it should be a lot more smooth now. Sorry, you'll see actually even after editing there was a bit where I wasn't quite caught up, but it should be all better now. So okay. So back to what we were discussing before. So here.
This Oki situation.
Okay. So Ignis gets the hit. Cat gets knocked down. Okay. Okay, so in this given situation, I guess Ignis wasn't 100% sure that Cat would be knocked down, since it wasn't a hard knockdown. He kind of deliberately chose to be knocked down. But generally, as Alice, especially since she's a more setup-oriented character, or anyone in general actually, just want to stop them from high jumping on wake up. That's like the worst outcome, or one of the worst outcomes that can happen. So it's really important to kind of put yourself at the right distance and just melee them with any melee you have. As Alice, it will usually be a F5A or a J5A.
If you were to enable drawing quickly.
Yep, sorry. So I've got the drawing on.
If you... I'm not sure why I can't... Anyway, if... it doesn't matter, I don't have to draw. Basically, even if Cat decided to tech, if you just held a J6D, if you didn't put down that second C doll and just held a J6D and you teched, you'd still be able to police his tech with a J6A.
That's true. So if Ignis just here instead moved to that position where his doll is, he would have been able to, you know, beat the air tech, or at least make Cat block with a J5A or J6A. They were actually quite close to each other already. It's just that the frames he invested on throwing out that second doll prevented him from really being able to move in place in time.
Yeah.
So Cat was able to get that high jump.
And recognizing these like offensive opportunities is pretty important.
Yeah.
Because as players get better, they start giving them less and less.
Yeah. Okay. So with that in mind, let's move along. Okay. So Cat doing a raw 236. Okay. So the 2-2 Cat used there is quite a interesting movement tool. It kind of stalls Aya in place and lets her do like an additional hop, which isn't counted as an air movement. I think
kind of like gives her a budget air movement.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Cat actually did have a flight there, I think. Let me just double check. I feel like it's more suited to when you're low to the air and you want to feint out whether you're falling or you're gonna stay in the air. So using it that high in the air... oh no, he was out of air movements, okay.
Still, I think it would have been more effective for him to fall a little bit further.
I mean, at this distance, I just don't see any real threat from falling down. Alice isn't really close enough to get any kind of real punish. Like, if Cat didn't do that, he would be about here now. And then Alice would kind of come along and maybe get some pressure. But considering he has no no flights left anyway, I feel like this 2-2 is done a bit too high. Because when he hops, he's going to be stuck without any movement here. So
yeah, because when you hop, you're going to be pushed up a little bit further as well.
So
and you don't want to go higher when you have no flights.
And you'll notice that Ignis has some dolls out. And if you're watching in slow motion, this one starts firing and there you go. Cat just ran into it with no air movements left. So it's need to be a bit more careful with that 2-2 use, as well as of course monitoring your flights. You don't want to run out of flight really high in the air like Cat did there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep going.
Okay, this 236. We want to have a look at what this 236 is doing.
Yep, sorry, I'll go back. Okay, so that place 236 there, played in slow motion. Ignis gets that hit and he places a 236B. Now, you can see right off the bat that Cat is really far away from that 236. And not just that, that 236 has placed Ignis on this really low amount of spirit. So with skill, spirit regen cooldown. So that's quite a high commitment that Ignis is making there. He's willing to put himself on this orb count for the next 2 seconds before it regens back up. Now, when using skills like this, you really need to consider, is it helping me? Or is that spirit just going to waste? Am I going to be disadvantaged? With this 236, at higher levels, it does have a really high staying power. It just lasts for a really long time, so you don't need to concern yourself with aiming it too much. But if I play it in slow motion, you're going to see that by the time Cat beelines to it basically, and by the time he gets there, it's gone. And Ignis is on this really low spirit as a result. So I think in that given situation, it would have been better for Ignis to just place a normal Sea Doll, since that actually has more lasting cover, which would have been more appropriate in that situation, especially since he doesn't need to aim it as precisely. And it would have also done some favors for his spirit, which isn't looking too good right now. Okay, so we'll move along and see what happens next. Okay, this is going to be brought up a lot in this set. Cat uses this domination dash, which is it is a grazing skill, and it is pretty safe on whiff. So that's two things going for it.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not apparent yet, but it does have quite a substantial flaw against Alice in particular. And even not against Alice, when using quite committal moves like this, which are punishable on block, you want to really have a good reason to use it. Like, you want something in your mind, why am I using it in this situation?
Yeah.
Here, it could be argued that Cat was maybe expecting Ignis to high jump, which would put him right in its range, and Ignis would have been hit. So I can't outright say this was a bad decision, but I think Cat could have done like 6-6 J5A, or even J6A to achieve the same result, basically.
For much less risk.
Yeah, because there was no bullet to graze through anyway. So yeah, that's something to consider. There's Aya tends to have a low return on a lot of her attacks, just in regards to low damage. So mixing in high risk moves like this, which don't have the damage to kind of make up for that risk, is kind of makes it a move you want to ease on the amount of times you use it, I guess.
Yeah,
like, it's
worth
like using to keep them on. That's a good way to put it. It's worth using sometimes just to kind of scare them, since it does provide a unique kind of angle of attack. Not necessarily here, but like it does have unique angles and uses.
And not only that, it has unique angles and uses, and it also grazes.
That's right. So there will be situations where you can only get a hit with that, and no other move would have gotten you the hit. But I think what's most important is that you use it in a way where you threaten that it will come, and it keeps the opponent on their toes, kind of restricting their actions without really having that commitment of using it.
Yeah.
That would be the strongest way to use it in my mind. Okay, so let's see what happens next.
I'm sure Cat will take that to heart throughout the rest of this set.
Okay, so Cat does a J6C here, which is pretty far away from Alice, like you can see that distance. But that's something, a bit of a matchup knowledge that you need to be careful of. As you can see, the spears are like reaching here. I think the hitbox looks something like this. And there's a blind spot here. And Alice can, I guess, dash AU at about this area here. So you don't want to do these high committal late cancel bullets or attacks at this range, especially when Alice isn't committing to she hasn't like whiffed anything, or she isn't kind of respecting you, because you're just gonna eat a raw F5A like that.
Yeah, there's like Alice has a really good sweet spot in the middle distance where she has all these amazing disjoint moves.
Yeah, like
they're really good at hitting you and swatting you away.
distance.
J6A, far 5A, dash B. But close and far. Close, she does have some moves like the boot.
the boot.
Das Boot.
It'll be about here, yeah.
But sometimes, like, if you position yourself in I can't see your drawings, but if you position
Okay.
yourself in front of her disjoint dolls,
Mhm.
sometimes you'll be able to catch her out on a whiff and get a full punish.
Yeah,
And
like
playing
if he was
outside of
here.
and playing outside of her dolls is also really important.
Yeah, that's right. Or here.
But there's a little mid area that you want to be really careful when you play
Yeah,
inside.
so this blue circle here, where that kind of doll is flying backwards in, is pretty dangerous. That's whether I think it was 11 or 13 frame F5A is gonna hit you. So it's pretty scary. You want to be careful of that. Okay, so let's clean up the drawings and move on. Okay. Okay, tech. Good 2-2 from Ignis, by the way. Okay, not sure why that hit, but you really want to avoid giving the opponent free damage and momentum like that. That should have been avoidable. Like, at worst, Cat could have blocked. Just, yeah, that free damage, the less of that happens, the better.
Yeah.
So more watching of the screen, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Speed. Nice J6A from Ignis.
Yeah, some interesting Tempest play, which messes with the matchup a bit.
Okay, that 2-on-4 wasn't... It worked, so it's hard to say it's a bad thing. And it did kind of have a purpose of grazing through the bullets, so that is a decent use of it, I think. And we'll continue. Okay, good 2B Oki. Okay, that meaty really did need some work. It was very late. Luckily Ignis didn't dash under, so Cat was able to maintain some kind of basic air pressure.
Yeah.
But considering Aya is one of the faster characters in the game, and also her ability to kind of stick to opponents is quite high. You want to be able to leverage that and just not let them...
And her pressure is so good too, right?
Yeah, her pressure is definitely one of the better ones, especially with her spell cards. So you want to not let the opponent get out for free when you get a knockdown like that.
Yeah. And then just shortly after that, after the first J5A is blocked, he goes for another rejump, but it's not quite at the right...
Yep, there it is.
It's not quite at the right spacing, right?
Yeah, there was
I
too
guess the
much
frames
of
are
a gap.
really tight there.
Yeah, it is definitely a hard situation to judge, especially when you're not kind of used to your character, I guess, which is the situation Cat's in. But yeah, so I guess meteors are important, especially once you get to the medium, higher levels of play, when your opponent's probably going to be able to meter you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move along. Scorching sun on the clock.
Really good beat, that too.
Good 2-2. Okay.
Cat's... I don't know what Cat's... Yeah.
Cat's being Icarus there.
Yeah, he's flying really close to the sun.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. There was actually something there. This is a point that will come up quite a few times in this analysis. Cat's very eager to throw out all these skill bullets, in particular in neutral. Okay, that wasn't a skill, but yeah. So he was dashing in with no bullet cover, partially because Aya doesn't have much in terms of bullet cover, which is a big contrast to Reimu, who is usually used to playing as.
Who's the bullet cover?
The bullet cover. Yeah, but so in this case, he kind of discarded all his spirit on that J5C, and despite having no spirit left, so you can see he's on 0.5 orbs, he kind of beelined straight to Alice. Now, as Reimu, that mightn't be the worst idea, because usually they'll be kept in check by lingering bullets, so you will kind of have this protection on you, which lets you keep initiative, and you don't have to worry about your approach backfiring, I guess, even though you have no spirit. But in Aya's case, there was no cover there, so it definitely was quite a risky approach. And if he did end up blocking, which he didn't, but it probably was better than being hit out right there, it's very likely he's going to be crushed.
And the other thing is, like, the risk is so high, because if you don't win the situation, you end up having to block, you can get crushed. But also, if you get a hit, like, because you have so little spirit, you can't pressure effectively, and you can't combo effectively in some cases.
Yeah, that's true. So the return on a successful approach is lower too when you have no spirit. So yeah, it's important for all players to kind of keep track of your spirit while playing and kind of make your decisions based off that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's press on. Okay, good meaty from Ignis, by the way. Okay.
Keep having some reset. It's fine though.
Okay, so Ignis did a dash A into a 236 doll activation, I think. Now, it's pretty risky to do there because one, there's no threat of a melee unless you run 1000 spear dolls, which Ignis isn't running. So it's not quite the same as doing F5A into doll activation, which is certainly a mix-up you see quite often. So the opponent has a lot more headspace left to kind of see that you're doing a non-air type bullet there, and they can usually just escape, but Cat makes a good call here and does an F5A, which just hits Ignis outright. So I'm not sure if that was a misinput of 623, which would have been a good way of escaping that situation for Alice, or if it was on purpose, in which case he should try to consider the dangers of using it there. Okay, so we'll move on. Okay, Ignis tried to place a normal J5C there, I think, and gets hit by Aya, who's hot on her trail there. Now, it's important to remember when playing Alice that your C-dolls don't have an immediate effect. You're not getting any immediate bullet cover when you place a C-doll, which is why you want to make sure you have adequate space when you place those. So in that given situation, it was probably better for Ignis to just block, or even throw out a melee maybe, though that would have still gotten him hit.
In return for not having as great defensive bullets, very slow and delayed defensive bullets, she does have these massive restraint melees. So if you took the initiative and was a little bit faster, maybe you could have thrown out a J6A to stop him from approaching. But in general, this C bullet at this spacing is just really risky. Just
yeah, it's just
all about
opening
reading that spacing and identifying when she can approach. And Aya's one of those characters who can approach from further than most characters because of her speed.
That's right, yeah. Okay, so a bit more recognizing what spacings you're using C-dolls at for Ignis. Okay. Moving on. Okay, I feel like Cat would have been able to get a bit more spirit damage there if he had used 2A on all those staggers. Now, I understand that 5A would kind of let you catch jump outs better, but you can also do the same with 2A if you time it right. So yeah, just try to opt for more 2A as your main low mix-up when you're just trying to keep them in pressure.
Yeah. There are two benefits for using 5A. One of them is a really big benefit, actually. You can go into Dialect, which is obviously more options is better. But the other thing is, I guess there's a little bit of visual mix-up there with 4A instead of 2A. But in general, using 2A, just because it's a low, like being a low is so much more value than the small visual mix-up of pressing 4A.
Yeah, that's right. So that's something for a Cat. He's Raymond doesn't have that light 2A. So that's something to get used to for Cat.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Okay.
Next pressure decision that we're gonna have a look at here.
You see it quite often from Cat in this set. It's where he does a grounded bullet into high jump J2B.
This is okay as Reimu, right?
Yeah, as Reimu, there's a strong mix up there between, I guess, J5B and J6A. But as Aya, the return on your bullet being blocked is actually quite low. I feel like it's quite dubious whether you can continue pressure effectively even on block.
Yeah.
And of course the spirit damage is 0.5 orbs. And on top of that, you kind of open yourself up to reads where they high jump into your face and hit you.
Yeah.
And because Aya has a low kind of return on a lot of her hits due to her low damage, I feel like once you get to stronger Ayas, they'll try to mitigate that risk as much as possible.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not an option worth pursuing very often.
Yeah. Especially when she has such good grounded pressure with
Yeah,
melees,
that's right. Cat should try to opt to staggering out her grounded melees more until they get to a spirit range where they can be crushed with 236 or maybe 6C 236 or even a spell card.
Yeah. That's the general Aya pressure game plan.
Yeah, I think so.
She doesn't really rely on high jump bullet resets.
Yeah, so that's a big change from Reimu. So hopefully Cat can get used to that over time. Okay. Yep, good Spirit Strike.
Yeah.
Some Alice specific information here. Now, you don't want to approach as Alice, okay, it's generally better as Alice that when you have space, you set up sea dolls to kind of give yourself an advantage in the near future.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do much with Alice herself if she doesn't have much cover.
Yeah.
While she does have like big melees, they are all kind of pretty committal unless you land cancel them.
Yeah, they're pretty committal and they're very good defensive melees.
Yeah, it's not an approach melee if that kind of is conveyed well.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that situation, instead of that 60, I would have placed a few sea dolls, maybe 2 sea dolls. And then
is my drawing showing up?
Yes, it is. It is. You might want to change the ink color though.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. So yeah, because Ignis had all this space, like literally from one side of the screen to the other. When Alice has this much space, like there's not really anything they can do to stop you from setting up your dolls, right? And taking recognizing opportunities like that instead of just spending the frames like I don't want to be mean and say autopilot, but instead of just spending those frames moving forward and stuff like that, recognizing you can get your setup going, because like when Alice has her setup going, when Alice has all of her dolls up, that's when it's really scary. That's when it's annoying to play against.
Yeah, so I guess taking advantage of your character's unique strengths. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what happens next. Okay.
Domination.
Another domination dash gets blocked by Alice J2A. Now, Ignis had no bullet cover there, like we mentioned before. So it would. I'm not quite sure what the goal of that 214 was.
Because generally, one of the unique use cases of domination dash, as we mentioned before, is it can be used to float through bullets because it can graze.
That's right.
And that's something that only it can do. In this situation, as Klempfer said, there's no bullet cover coming from Ignis.
Yeah, so it's important to kind of have a clear goal in mind when you use moves like that. You don't want to kind of just throw it out in the hopes that they run into it without any real, I guess, intent behind its use.
Yeah. Because if we look at where Alice was when it was being used, it's kind of like, I'm not sure what movements Alice was likely to make that would have led to her getting hit by this, if that makes sense.
I guess a high jump off that. Oh yeah, even the high jump was way too early. So yeah, it's a bit more, I guess, intent behind the use of these committal moves would be good from Cat. Okay, so good deflect from Ignis. It gets picked up by that spinner. Okay, I mean, I guess Cat was respecting because he was in F5A range. So I guess a good call by Ignis. And okay.
This is an interesting sequence of events.
So first I'll highlight Cat's spirit. Ignis was doing really well with that pressure. He had Cat on like the edge of being crushed. Unfortunately, instead of going for another high-low or even a bullet, he went for the one-cost Artful Sacrifice. And if you
he was reading that Cat was going to Spirit Strength. That's what he was doing.
we'll get into Cat's response next, but so if you've ever played against Alice or played as Alice, I'm sure you know that Artful Sacrifice is a spell that is really delayed before it lands. So there's like a significant time lag between throwing it and it reaching its mark. So it's doesn't really... It doesn't have much benefit to use it there, especially when it kind of opens up Alice when you throw it. So
Yeah.
Cat could have just poked out or even just jumped out for free, which is a real shame because Ignis was that close to getting a crush.
Yeah, and like standing crushes, like that's what you want, right?
Yeah,
you want that. You want
optimal
them just
ground
standing there so
starter.
you can combo them.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Cat doesn't quite recognize the situation and uses a Spirit Strike. It's likely he was panicking due to his own orb count, which is a good call. But I guess he just needs to...
Actually, we should look if he was inputting that before the spell flash or not.
So wrong block. Okay, he was mashing it. Yeah, I mean, not... Yeah, okay, maybe it was a decision locked in before the spell.
That's the downside of mashing. You're already like committed to this decision.
Yeah, it might vary person to person, but I find that if you're mashing an input like this, you're kind of committing yourself to it in your brain. It's harder to swap when it's no longer a good idea. So yeah, I guess a lesson on kind of mashing your defensive options as well as inputs in general, and as well as for Ignis, just assessing where it's good to use that spell versus what advantage you have on their spirit right now. Okay, so let's move along. Oh, and yeah, default reaction should be high jump out. If you see a spell card, that's a bullet, and even if it is airtight, it's worth just holding down the 60 or 80, because if it wasn't airtight for whatever reason, you get out for free or even get a punish.
Yeah.
So worth trying, and would have helped Cat greatly there. Okay. So Ignis places Sea Dolls. Good meaty.
Yeah, he gets a 5/5 meaty.
Just that 2-3-6 there might be a bit more advanced than what Ignis is used to, but it's better generally used mid pressure string. So from my experience, mostly playing against Alice, usually she throws down a few Sea Dolls for Oki without any skills accompanying them, and then she goes into a meaty like F5A or J5A, and then while they're blocking the Sea Dolls that she placed for the Oki, you then use the skill, whether it's 2-2 or 2-3-6, and they get pushed into that.
And part of the reason why they would do this is because it's a lot easier to get a meaty than it is to extend your pressure, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
extending pressure mid-string is actually pretty hard. So when you have a doll placed somewhere around them, you should say, "Oh, I can extend my pressure with this doll." But using it the other way around, like it's like you can already meaty them. You know, you can already put a button out there and meaty them. So it's kind of like you're throwing away your pressure extender.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a good way to think about it. Yeah, we'll see how Ignis' Oki goes later on in the set. But something to keep in mind is not a good idea to throw out skills, especially bullet skills, instead of a meaty. You will always want to prioritize a meaty. Okay. Well, not always, but if they're not respecting you, you need to kind of put that as your default option.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move
A
on.
meaty is never bad.
Air tech. Okay. Cat cancelled into a... That was a good F5A, which was made to look like a dash A. That's a good mix-up since you can go into a melee to catch their escape attempt if they expect to dash A into 2-3-6. But Cat interestingly cancels into a 5B. Not quite sure what... Maybe. Not quite sure what he was expecting to get off that 5B, but generally people like to cancel into 3A off that, or 2-3-6 I find to be most common. Yeah, just 5B there is a bit of a strange option. Might have some use that we're not catching on to though. Okay. Whoa, okay. Ignis, I'm guessing there's some misinputs, but a lot of kind of backstep escape options in corner.
Yeah, backdashing into corner. I'm not sure.
I mean, if
there
you
are some use cases, I guess.
if you can make something whiff, like a melee whiff, you can get advantage out of it
Yeah.
using the invincibility. But I feel like that backstep after, especially, was definitely a misinput.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Similar to the earlier 60 after the Spirit Strike for Ignis, you don't want to kind of lead your offense without any bullet cover by dashing forwards as Alice. Her kit is, like we mentioned before, more defensively geared,
Yeah.
and you want to just use... you don't want to spend the frames just dashing towards them without any cover, I think. You'll find more luck just putting out a sea doll and getting the advantage it offers in the near future.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, we saw something there. Okay, so there's the sea doll, 2d6. Not sure what that was. Not exactly ideal. And Ignis, even though Ignis won't be able to get the punish because it's River Mist, this kind of killed Cat's spirit. He's now on no
Killed
spirit.
his spirit. He doesn't have the momentum in neutral anymore.
Yep,
like,
Ignis managed to get out more dolls in that time.
It's not just the dolls. When Ignis, or when not even Ignis, when any character sees this, you're giving them so many frames to do whatever they want with. Because in 12.3 frames are actually a resource. So they can reposition, they can choose the battlefield however they want, they can set up whatever bullet cover they want to approach you with.
That's right, yeah, it's easy to build up this kind of gradual advantage with every frame you get for free. It stacks up over time. And this kind of thing's just feeding that really well, so Ignis can, not just with the spirit, but with the frames, move into a better position just to gain an advantage over Cat.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. And we'll notice Ignis has this 2-2 card. I feel like it's important to level that up above pretty much anything else as Alice.
Yeah,
That's something to
2-2,
consider.
level 2-2 is crazy.
Yeah, there's that JB again.
Rethinking.
Oh, and he did have a spell card there, so he could have gone into a spell stream instead of that high jump J5B pressure, which
Yeah,
admittedly has been working out okay. But it led to a chicken block, which unfortunately the interaction after Ignis lost out on, but that wasn't great for continuing pressure for Cat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on. Oh, and Ignis did try a 4A perk which got outranged. Could be River Mist playing with him. But generally, if you're not sure of the range, I'd recommend perking with Dash A or 2A even. Both around 11 frames of startup, I think. So they're reasonably fast and they have a way more reach than a 4A, which is also quite slow at 9 frames. So
Yeah.
okay, so we'll keep going.
Alice, not really much of a poking character on defense.
Okay, another jump into J5B. Said it last time too, but it's not exactly a great option, especially in mid-screen, since they have way more time to react.
Yeah, with AI, you kind of want to lock them down on the ground and just keep mixing them with melees.
Yeah. So it would have been good to just not stop and spend the frames to shoot that bullet, which doesn't help much. And like JD said, just kind of move in and lock Alice down. Okay, so moving on. Great use of 2-2. Okay. Oh, but there's a problem. Ignis.
Even earlier than this.
Oh, actually, yeah. Sorry, there was a moment before.
There's a moment where Cat is approaching into this, like look at this situation. Flying in this situation, I feel like when you see all this bullet cover here, my first reaction is I don't want to be anywhere near that. Right?
That's definitely a bad spot for Cat. And Ignis did actually manage to get some pressure off it. So yeah. I mean, he did have time. I think a 4-4 would have been a good way out of that situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a little bit further than that, we see...
Puts himself in 0 spirit. Okay. So there's a the first problem is that Ignis pressed the button after going into the bullet. Like we mentioned before, you want to avoid giving the opponent free damage like this.
Yeah, just
It's
reading the situation and
yeah,
spacings and such is
watching the
that.
screen more to avoid that kind of situation.
But even that aside, moving forward at that spirit,
Yeah,
without
so
any
Ignis was
doll
an absolute
cover,
zero
like,
spirit here.
he
And
did have a doll out, I guess, but it's still like you're rolling the dice, and the dice is stacked against you.
yeah, and not just that, Cat had his own bullet cover out, so
Yeah.
it was a. I feel like Ignis should be a bit more careful with his spirit, especially when he wants to start an engagement against
lot
an
of,
almost full spirit opponent.
A lot of neutral in 12.3 isn't just making less mistakes and making your opponent make more mistakes. It's also playing in situations where it's harder to make mistakes, you know, and it's easy for your opponent to make mistakes. So in the situation where Alice has no spirit, Aya is up, it has height advantage and has bullet cover out. Yeah, in theory, Alice could maybe do something to outplay Aya, but you have to work a lot harder in this situation to get that advantage. And in this situation, you Ignis high jumps up and he makes a misspacing, makes a mistake, and he gets hit for it. So figuring out how to stack the odds in your favor, I think, is pretty important. Making it easier for yourself in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So now we see Cat doing a 6D into another 6C. Disregarding the use of 6C into 6C, if Cat's goal was to get a second bullet out ASAP, it's important to remember that 6-6 instead of 60 will give you those that early cancel, letting you put out that bullet earlier.
Anytime you're trying to motion cancel directly into another move, using 6-6 or 4-4 is much faster than J60.
Yeah.
And it gives you more of that valuable commodity we're calling frames.
Yeah, more frames the better. Okay, so that worked out for Cat. We'll see what happens here. Okay, air tech from Ignis. Okay, good kind of, I guess, an anti-air 2B from Cat, maybe trying to low profile, but gets launched away by that J6A counter hit. Very good spacing from Ignis there. And will he take the game? Unfortunately drops it. Okay, so with that J6A, especially because he pre-inputted that 6B, with the anticipation of it hitting, I'm guessing, it's important to note that on normal hit, the 6B won't combo. They'll just get knocked down in mid-screen from that distance. And on counter hit, like we saw there, you need to delay it and time that 6B or J6B so it aligns with their kind of falling animation.
Yeah, which is height specific.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a bit of a judgment required from the Alice player. And understandably, at this kind of a low HP situation, it might be hard to really not panic and get it right. So something Ignis could have done probably was let that J6A land cancel. Might have been a bit too high, sorry if it was, but if he did let that J6A cancel, yeah, I suspect if he didn't use that 6B, it would have. He could have just gone into that spell card for the KO.
Yeah, obviously timing the 6B, J6B would be the best, but in this high tension situation, if you really just need to take the game, recognizing situations where you're stressed out.
Yeah, recognizing the kind of stress you're under, and just
because the most important thing is taking that round.
Yeah,
getting a guaranteed round is massive.
That's right. Even though the damage is tiny, a round is really big, so it's worth being able to secure that if you're not sure of that situation. Okay, let's move on. We'll note Cat's on one hit till death. Okay, some big sweeping movements from Maya, not bad. Okay.
Okay, now we can talk about the big problem with Domination Dash in this matchup.
So you'll notice there that the doll actually took the hit, and Domination Dash loses its hitbox if it collides with something, which in the Alice matchup is probably going to be a doll most of the time. So it's something that I wouldn't honestly recommend using it frequently in any matchup. Maybe there are some exceptions, but as far as I'm aware. But against Alice in particular, it's just going to be eaten up by those doll hurt boxes.
Yeah.
and you're kind of going to float down and give Alice an easy punish.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I want you to put your attention back on Cat's HP. You'll notice that he's basically one hit away from death. So it's using that kind of move which wouldn't really turn the tables if it hit. Like even if it hit,
if it has low damage, he wouldn't really be able to close the round out.
I mean, maybe on counter hit, he would have gone into a decent combo into this 4 card he's got at the back. But it's a bit of a stretch, I think, and considering it's at the back of his hand, I feel like he wasn't really considering it. And that damage just wouldn't be enough to KO Alice. Well, if it missed or if it blocked, it's highly likely that Alice is going to close out the game.
Yeah.
So more kind of attention put to your HP and treating it as a kind of resource that determines how you play would be really good. Something that a lot of medium level players would benefit from incorporating, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving along. Ooh, okay. Unfortunately, Ignis didn't take the game, but
just barely misses the
I guess he wasn't quite used to that interaction with the dolls and the domination dash. Okay, Cat does a 4-cost in neutral. Quite a yeah.
Like all you need to do is just press J2A. You win
or
round.
J6A would have probably reached too. I mean, it's Ignis was probably a bit scared of the spell, or maybe he didn't quite know what to do, which is understandable. But you want to not miss those chances where you can take the game quite. Just one move different would have taken the game, and it wasn't really a mix-up or anything. You want to be able to close games when it's given to you like that.
Yeah.
But I do want to commend Cat on his kind of willingness to cling on to the round by using his resources.
Exactly.
I mean, you could argue that he was better off saving it for the next game, but at this HP, maybe it is worth going for that all-in. Hard to say. I mean, Aya doesn't have too much trouble building meter, so I feel like it might have been a good call from Cat. He just could have used it a bit earlier, or else Ignis really could have just closed that game. Okay. Okay. Not sure what happened there. That's, again, free damage. You want to avoid that where you can. We'll see what Cat gets off this. He does get the hit and a knockdown.
Yeah,
it's really bad for Ignis now.
If you look at how this game is now compared to this game just a few seconds ago, it's such a massive difference.
Yeah, just in a few seconds because of that unfortunate free 4-cost hit.
Yeah.
The health difference.
This is how you trade rounds.
Yeah, the health difference is basically non-existent now.
You miss 2 or 3 game-winning buttons, and then this happens. And now it's looking a lot less even. It's looking a lot less sealed.
So Cat goes for pressure, stagger pressure, not bad.
Yeah, this is more the melee-based pressure that we want to see.
Well, at least he didn't do the. Ooh, you hate to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that J2B, he did the J2B again. Okay, first of all, I'd like to commend Cat for doing some more standard eye pressure on the ground, like these melee staggers.
Yeah, and his
like what you want to see.
High jump wasn't into J2B. It was
I wasn't into J2B.
It was 60 reset, which probably was better than J2B there. Debatable, but you can see from this handy frame display that there was a 31 frame gap.
Yeah, Ignis was plus 31 here.
Yeah, so very ambitious reset from Cat. Ignis could have easily...
Especially at this health where you just need one clip. You just need one hit somewhere to get them. You don't really need these massive resets. I just focus on keeping them locked down and see how long until they crack.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been good to probably keep the pressure earlier in the cancel chain. Not committing to these bullet cancels when they're not in crush range.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, if Ignis J58 here, he probably could have won. But luckily Cat manages to gain respect, even though he's minus 31. And Ignis blocks the J5A. And they trade J5As. Oh, they both did J5A here, but Cat was at the right height.
Yeah, it's just a little bit faster here.
Only 4 frame.
And he doesn't get the convert.
Lots of game-dropping moments here. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens in the end. Okay, Ignis has pressure. Hangeki. I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. Okay.
Another rejump.
The rejump's working really well for Cat here. He's
Yeah.
2 in a row, which worked in his favor. The gap's only 3 frames here, so very strong
So
maneuver.
that's in situations like this, you really hate to see it happen because that's 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
You just could have just pressed the button here or there, and the round would have been over.
I mean, there's obviously unfamiliarity, especially with that 4 cost, I'm sure. But yeah, you just you really need to grab for those wins. That's something that you need to really go for. So okay.
Really, there's a mentality there. The mentality of like, okay, where are my opportunities, and really focusing on like any small advantage you can get at this health difference. You know, like I don't know if you feel this, Clem, but when situations like this happen, like I really start sniffing for those hits, right? You know, I look for, like, even if I'm not entirely sure if something's punishable or not, you know, I go for it.
You go for it, yeah. I think that hungry attitude's quite important. Okay, so Cat takes the first round. Despite
Through hunger.
Yeah,
he
through
didn't
hunger.
give up, right? He
made the
clung
comeback.
onto it, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it cost him 4 cards, but definitely worth it since he was able to
not
take
just
them
that,
down.
but he also, like, he was, like, aggressive, you know?
He went
kept
in
it coming.
for that kill. Okay, so let's see what happens in round 2. Also, yeah, Ignis did have a lot of chances. Alice isn't great at scramble situations, but even then, like JD said, you do want to go for those wins.
Yeah.
Okay, so round 2. I feel like... Okay, Cat level is 236, it's not bad. Ignis placing Sea-Dolls and retreating, that's a good move. Got kind of outspaced there with the J6C, not necessarily...
Can't really blame that. You can't really blame that J6A, it's just...
good decision from Cat.
Spacing mix-up.
Yeah. Okay.
So Cat comes down with J5A.
Yeah, he misses that J5A. So there's the whiff J5A. Good decision. This is something that you don't see too often actually. When you miss,
a lot of advanced players can't do this.
It's a bad habit that a lot of players have. When you land cancel a move that whiffed, it's quite tempting to kind of high jump away or try to continue your pressure because you land cancelled it. It feels quite safe, but you're definitely minus there. So it's good that Ignis was able to catch that out and poke, and even better that Cat was able to recognize it and block.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. Okay, let's move along. Unfortunately, he gets kind of tricked by that 4A whiff.
Yeah.
You know, Ignis lands
at this spacing, even when Alice is minus because she's whiffed a button, it's just the spacing's too good for her.
Yeah, that's right. It's a danger zone, like we mentioned before. You want to be extra careful in this area.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ignis gets the F5A.
However, Ignis doesn't quite convert.
Late 6A cancel. As Alice, it's important to recognize when you need to cancel into that 6A ASAP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even on block, you just do it, right?
Yeah, you just do it. It's airtight, I think, on block, so...
Wow.
Yeah. Not that that's necessarily a good thing, but... Okay.
Here, Ignis is taking forward.
Yeah.
Going back to Alice's game plan, like she doesn't have any dolls out. She doesn't have her resources going. So you're not really playing to her strengths by closing the distance. Like
yeah, she's got absolutely nothing out right now, and P1 is minus 56 frames. So it's a dangerous situation Ignis is putting himself in.
How many flats does Ignis have as well?
I think he didn't use any. Let's see.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll fast forward it. Yeah, he still had both flats
Okay, he's
left.
still got 2 flats, so it's not too bad.
But Cat wasn't able to capitalize on that. Maybe not necessarily his it's a difficult situation. Like you wouldn't expect that forward tech.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ignis was able to safely defuse it with a downwards flight, which was a good follow-up to a not the best decision. Okay. So yep, good 6A. Okay, so you notice Ignis does a lot of B bullet at 6B in particular after 6A. Now that's good on hit, as it will add some damage. Still won't result in a knockdown though. But the thing is, on block, you really don't want to spend the frames doing this bullet that is 100% going to get high jumped. So you're much better off, I personally find, throwing out a C doll there after 6A is blocked in mid-screen especially, or if you have dolls out already, 2-2 is a really strong option there.
Yeah, because you get to extend your pressure, right?
So Ignis would want to kind of move away from that default B cancel there.
Unless it'll kill.
Yeah, unless it'll kill, then it's definitely worth it. Okay. Some decent combo, doesn't get the knockdown there. Spring Haze. Okay. Cat's throwing out those
Cat's
2, 3,
dedicated to
6s.
this button.
It's Spring Haze, and Ignis has some dolls out, so he would easily do the 2-2. And on his spirit, it would be pretty dangerous in Spring Haze, considering the drain you get from grazing through bullets.
Yeah. So putting your spirit this low is really putting yourself in a situation where you're at a liability.
Yeah. You're gonna notice this a lot in this set, but there's a lot of kind of more attention to spirit would help both these players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's moving on. Okay.
Still using all these 2-3-6s, but at least it's filling a use here.
Yeah, it's helping his approach.
Yeah.
But
off the ground.
You'll notice that these chicken blocks Ignis was doing in response to Aya's approach, that while they didn't get him outright damaged, it was still Spring Haze when he was doing the first one. Here, it would have been a much less kind of... But by chicken blocking here, Ignis is giving up most of his advantage in neutral and inviting Aya in to pressure. Though he could have 6-8 here actually, but regardless, it's quite a defensive maneuver.
Yeah.
It would have been better for him to 60 under Aya, especially with Spring Haze active.
In Spring Haze, if you have the orbs for it, you don't really want to block anything.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all fake.
You're giving your opponent free cards basically.
Yeah.
So a good maneuver here would have been like 6-6 into 2-2, and Aya would have been among the dolls. That's a strong maneuver that you see Alice do sometimes. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, could have done a confirm with a second J5B, I think, but that's okay. Max level 236 really helping Cat here. Sorry. Hold on. Okay, so we'll notice here that Ignis did a 4A there when I was nowhere near.
It's her. Solve all your problems.
Yeah, Utsu would have gotten something out of it, but
it wouldn't have worked in this situation.
Yeah, but
if
it's
you want to play with that spirit.
Yeah, and you'll notice here
this...
that Ignis was doing a. I think in that situation, rather than that poke, it would have been good to do a defensive 2-2, especially with all these dolls nearby.
Yeah.
As Alice 2-2 is like a great way to just create a lot of room in neutral really quickly. And
the screen control that
it's really strong. So it would have kind of given him room to chase down Aya or place down more C dolls.
Yeah.
You want to kind of get that recycling going 2-2 into more C doll placements. That's a good way to keep up that doll manufacturing.
Yeah.
Okay, so yep, you see that. Okay, that okay.
Cat gets hit midi.
Cat should have been blocking, or even high jumped. I'm not sure why he got hit there. Looks like he was pressing change card. Not quite sure what he was going for there, but Ignis too. You don't want to waste these, like JD explained earlier, pressure extending moves like 2-2 to start your pressure. It's kind of a pretty big waste considering how much effort goes into setting up those 2-2s.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it kind of ate up his frame, so he couldn't get a meaty. While it worked out there with Cat getting hit raw, it was an unforced error. There was nothing really making that Oki real.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something Ignis should focus on, is just getting that melee on the opponent instead of using all these skills
Yeah.
on Oki. And if you really want to bullet on Oki, you should be using sea dolls as your main thing. Okay, so moving on. Okay, decent pressure. Good pressure from Aya. Oh, okay, really strong situation.
I think Ignis could have teched that.
Yeah, I suspect Ignis could have air teched. A bit hard to say, but if he could have, it would have been a really good place to do it, considering it's Diamond Dust.
He wasn't trying to air tech yet.
So yeah, it's a 500 free damage given to Cat from the knockdown, into of course the Oki with 4 cost, which is a good call from Cat. Even if Ignis did air tech, that would have worked out in his favor regardless. So it's a good situation that Cat's created for himself. That last pressure string into it was pretty good too. So we'll see what happens here. Gets that stagger pressure. It's good. Resets. Okay, there's that J2B again.
So if you rewind a little bit, if you look at this ground pressure string, you're doing these really nice melee strings. You're doing all Aya pressure stuff, but only when the rocks are up.
Yeah, he'd want to do that normally too, because that's a...
Yeah, this is the kind of pressure that you just do with Aya, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do.
And as soon as the rocks go away, you do high jump, J2B.
Interesting kind of whiffs here, but Ignis comes out on top. Nice reset there. I guess Cat was expecting a 2B and went for the 60 to punish, but Ignis was there with the boot.
Das Boot.
Okay. So, and that 623 follow-up's pretty good too. Better than the 236 he was doing earlier, I think. He kind of safely disengages. Okay. Places a doll, and okay, there's that doll eating the 214 again.
Yeah.
Cat
This
really
is
needs
as Clem
to...
said before, this is another unforced error. Because you can see this doll, right?
Yeah, it was definitely already there. It's... I mean, maybe Cat just really wanted to close that distance quickly, but with that doll in place, it's completely nullified. And Cat really should be aware of that before using it, I think, especially considering the risks that carries with it. Okay, so moving on. Oh, and Ignis, although he probably isn't too familiar with the situation, if he can start learning that those doll hitboxes just eat up that 214, he can be much more confident in his punishes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting J2A. Worked out. Okay, at that range it would have been hard to meaty. He could have done a dash B, but I don't disagree with that using the skill card there, especially when it levels the skill itself. But what I'd like to pay attention to is Cat's decision there on Wake Up.
Yeah.
Again, we're noticing he's just getting hit by bullets without any cover, so not sure if that's a misinput of high jump, turning into a chicken block, but like we said many times, want to avoid giving free damage to your opponent.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Ignis doing pretty good there to turtle behind the dolls. Cat gets a good...
Using the fear of these 2-2 cancels
Yeah.
and such.
Well, that 2-on-4 worked, so that was a pretty good use of it. We see a J2A there. Not quite sure how useful it can be in neutral. I mean, at least this one was aimed. It was relatively near Alice, but it's pretty risky.
This looks like a Reimu J2A doing it.
Yeah, maybe he was just used to Reimu.
Yeah, maybe in this situation he just misinput or he just thought he had Reimu J2A.
Good to note that Ignis didn't go into B there. He was probably ready to go into the Horai spell card on hit.
Yeah,
Just good hand awareness. Okay, moving along. Okay, there's the bullet pressure again. Hopefully Cat can get a hang of that pressure he was doing during the rock spell card, because that was pretty good. Much better than this pressure, which is pretty handily defeated by chicken block. Okay. Okay, Nice. Cat takes the first game with a
Cat takes the first.
combo that takes into account his remaining spirit too. Good job, Cat.
Yeah, good adaptation. That's kind of stuff you need for Raven.
Yeah,
right?
spirit matching.
Yeah. She has
Okay.
like 5 BNBs.
So round 2. Ignis definitely quite slow on the door placement here. You want to kind of open the round by making room for yourself and placing dolls.
Yeah, I think this is something that a lot of mid to low level players don't consider. When you're in the pre-round situation where you can still move around and such, like you can still do things that give you advantage.
Yeah,
like,
you
it's not
can
like
move
the game hasn't
anywhere.
started yet.
So
You can move anywhere. You know, you want to find your character spacing and sit there.
yeah.
If you're Aya, you'd want to be hanging around in places where you can easily pincer in if you see a bullet. If you're playing Yomu, you want to do the same. If you're playing a character like Alice, you want to make distance so you can get your dolls up at round start.
Yeah.
If you're Mayrin, you want to be right up against them. Because you have a 6-frame button.
Get ready to poke them right
Yeah,
at the start.
these are the things you have to consider because it is an advantage, and all these small advantages, all these small edges, do make a
Yeah,
big difference.
it's important to recognize all these small things you can do to build up an advantage. It really snowballs over time, so important to keep in mind. Okay. Cat, no.
I'm not sure. I mean, I did get him down to the ground, but
Okay, yeah, actually, that's something important to raise, actually. Especially 214C, the air one, J214C. You can't ignore the use of it as a movement option. On whiff, it's pretty safe. I mean, it did get him out of that kind of doll cluster.
and it did eliminate some of Ignis's bullet cover as well.
So, I mean, maybe that one wasn't too bad. But if it was done with the intent to hit, it's... might want to be a bit more careful. Okay, so moving on.
Another use of this double J6C bullet cover.
It's a strange, and not. I don't really think it's a strong maneuver to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
you're already kind of on it.
Yeah, 1J6C lingers for long enough. You can use that as really effective bullet cover already.
That's right. So I mean, I think that committing the frames and spirit to do the second one, especially when Alice flew above, wasn't exactly the best call to make there. Okay, so moving on. Ignis gets some doll hits. Okay. Oh, okay. Pretty cool kind of respect-based pressure there. Ignis gets the hit. But you might have noticed in that scramble situation, Alice was kind of flying all around Aya. With the dolls there to support her. So like here would have been a great place to 2-2.
Yeah.
If you're running the default one, you really want to kind of use it wherever you can. It's like...
It's so good. Like,
yeah, unless it's completely off mark, it's gonna be strong. Like if it's anywhere near the opponent.
It's kind of hard to misuse.
Yeah.
Like, even if it doesn't do anything directly, it limits their options.
That's
in
right.
the situation when Aya is on the left and near the corner, if you use 2-2, if she sits in the corner and tries to block, it's going to approach her and you're going to get pressure. If she tries to escape up the top, you can just look and see that's happening.
Yeah, that's right. So that would have been I guess in general, just more awareness of when 2-2 can help you. Be more proactive with its use.
Press 2-2 more, it's so good. It's like crack.
Okay, nice pressure. Wake up 2-1-4.
I don't know about that one.
Good to see. Some whiffs. Okay, decent combo from Cat. Sun Shower.
Okay. In Sun Shower, that's really big.
Yeah, you really want to get your meaties in Sun Shower. But okay. Decent combo. Doesn't quite get it though. Okay, that was a... Ignis basically dumped all his spirit into this string that completely missed the mark. I mentioned it before, but dash B is a good way to close the distance with a meaty melee. Even though it doesn't do much on hit, it kind of enforces respect.
Yeah.
Just by having a melee on them from such a distance is pretty good.
Even like aside from just enforcing respect, like they're gonna high jump.
Yeah, they will high jump.
Free damage.
That's right.
Like, if you, any time that Clem won't high jump, but anytime that anytime that like you're on the other side of the screen, like especially like Winky used to do this a lot. When he was like on your side screen, he'd just dash up and just do dash C as Oki or counter hit because everyone wants out.
That's
Like-
that's something important to consider, your opponent's mindset in that situation.
Yeah.
And another thing is again Spirit, because of that 2-3-6 he placed, which is completely off target. He's now put himself in a risky situation with no Spirit, and Aya's free to move in, very little
Yeah.
impeding her. So we'll see how this works out. Okay, Cat dumping his Spirit in return.
Yeah, she's like, okay, I understand. He's my homie Spirit. It's like a homie stock, but it's Spirit.
Okay, 2-on-4.
Another 2-on-4.
Decent
this one, he was
yeah.
actually going through bullet cover there. That's
Yeah.
kind of like what you want to use it for.
Yeah, exactly. If you can make the opponent scared of it in that situation, I think you're doing well. Okay, so Oki or no Oki.
Yeah, this makes sense. This is understandable because I'm assuming this is where Cat's mate arrived with his cup of tea and he got distracted.
I see.
That's what I'm assuming is happening here. Because I mean, if you
There
play
were no
it again,
inputs.
I'm not sure what else. Yeah, like if you look at his inputs, he's just not doing anything.
So there's the approach into the good. Oh, and he got it to level 1. It does gain startup with level 1, so that's not a bad move from Cat.
And his inputs, that is
No.
his last input.
No inputs into a very late 60. Unfortunately, gets beaten by Alice's F5A.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to definitely be a bit more proactive with your Oki, even just 60ing towards where they got knocked down.
I
You know,
really like how Ignis just stands there and is like, wait, he's just standing there. He just presses 5-5A.
Yeah, it's you want to do something for Oki. Purely leaving it up to reaction there didn't seem to be working, so
Yeah.
Cat would have wanted to just close the distance and kind of default to 2A and readjust
Yeah.
if he noticed the roll.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but good move from Ignis, taking advantage of that.
Especially
moving
because it passes up calm
on.
as well.
Really good Seagull placement. Okay.
He's
This
still...
again, the free damage from Oki, you just can't let that happen this many
Yeah.
times. It's like even that alone was like 2k.
Yeah.
It's a
And
really
he's still getting hit, like...
yeah.
Like,
he's-
if you look at what Ignis is doing, like as we've said many times, Ignis isn't even meeting with a bullet.
yeah, so it should be a free escape.
He's
to the
not
high
even meeting
jump.
with the melee. Yeah,
Free
if you just
high
high jump out, you
escape,
get out. And
yeah.
even if you're scared of like the melee Oki, which hasn't been shown yet, you gotta block it.
Yeah, blocking won't get you hit outright. It's a very great fallback option.
If you add up how many health bars Cat has lost by getting hit on Oki, it's
A lot, yeah.
it hurts to see.
So I guess need to either, I'm not sure if it's a misinput of high jump or if he's intentionally chicken blocking, but
Yeah.
need to be watching what's happening on the screen and yeah, just adjusting accordingly. If you're unsure, just block. Like that's the safest option you have. Okay, so moving on. Okay, kind of, I guess maybe unfamiliarity with that 2-3-6, but you want to avoid doing that in corner since it just goes off screen and doesn't do anything for you anymore. Like, yeah, it's good J2A follow up though. He was trying to cover that up quite well.
Maybe it was a feint. Maybe he was trying to bait a button.
Maybe, yeah. But considering Cat respected anyway, I would have just gone
He
for the
did push a
reset.
button. He recovered in
Did he?
time.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Okay. Cat's got calm on a health deficit.
Oh, it doesn't quite get a meaty again.
Some kind of weather strategy we could go over is basically if now calm doesn't seem like much, but it does add up, especially when you're in a life deficit.
It's another one of those small edges that if you add up all together, you'll get massive.
Yeah,
gains
so
from.
the right play I think for Cat there would have been to, once he secured the spotlight, it would have been good to kind of play a bit more passively, just to make sure he gets the full effect of the calm. And unfortunately, he did a bit of a forceful approach there, and it gave Ignis the spotlight at the end.
Yeah, even without calm, I think that was a bit of an ambitious approach.
Yeah, if we play it back, I don't think he had any cover. B-bullet, air tech. Yeah, it was pretty ambitious. I guess he was reacting to the air tech, but reacting to that from that distance.
Coming across the ground, I think, would have been better.
Yeah,
putting
that's-
yourself in an
that's true.
advantageous position.
Yeah, and he ended up in that Alice strength zone.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. Ignis running Seeker Wire, interesting skill. Okay, so regarding that skill, Seeker Wire, if you do run it, you want to kind of take advantage of its strengths over default 2-2.
Yeah.
The way Ignis used it there was kind of as like a really slow snipe. It had to bounce between the doors first before it got shot out. So it was quite slow, not offering much over just like a normal C-door placement or something like 6B. Its main use is, I guess, you want to use its faster startup compared to default to catch the opponent within the web of your strings, so the initial hitbox that comes out of Alice. If you can use it as an anti-approach, they kind of get snared within the ricochet and Alice comes out with an advantage.
And they're forced to either block or do this really messy and
Yeah,
reactive
that's right.
graze.
So,
Whereas Alice is just like, I'm gonna approach.
so it's really hard to keep track of, but if you can remember the ordering of your dolls as well as kind of structure them in a way where it bounces between them in a way that creates that web, I think that's the best way to use it. And even more on a surface level, if you use it more defensively than offensively like Ignis did there, you'll gain more leverage out of it, I think. Okay, so moving along. Okay, cat approaching.
Just run default.
Yeah, default's really good. I mean, not to say Seeker doesn't have its advantages, but
Yeah, Seeker's fine.
default's strong in a lot of situations, and it's a lot easier to use. So
Yeah, and we noticed that this is actually like, I think this is the counter pick, right? Like Ignis has lost the first game.
yeah, I guess
But
he
okay,
adjusted his deck.
D22 isn't working out. I'm going to bring out Seeker Wire, but we can point out the reason D22 wasn't working and why I felt you had to switch. It's just because you're not using it.
Yeah, you just
It's
need
so
to use
good.
it more.
Just
It is really good.
Push it.
In
It's
pressure,
such a good move. Like,
in neutral, against an approach.
yeah, it has so much space control.
Though admittedly against approaches, I guess Seeker might have an edge. It lets you use it later than D22.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. And Cat dropped that combo there. I think J8A would have connected. Small note to make. Okay. Okay, something we're noticing here. Cat doesn't seem to want to low block these pressure initiating 5As Ignis has been doing. It's important that when you're facing a specific character, you kind of adapt your defense around them. So by now, Cat probably is starting to notice that Alice's pressure starts with lows. So it would be good if he could start kind of defaulting to low as his initial defensive option.
There's like a broader fundamental thing here too, where like your defense should be catered to what you're up against, and that works on both a player and a character level. So some characters, like a good example me and Klempfer were talking about just a few hours ago, is Marissa doesn't really have a great or easy way to threaten with highs. Her high options aren't as good as her low options. So if you're defending against Marissa, I guess the first thing you want to consider is, I guess we'll just block low. Obviously that's a massive oversimplification, but having these like and having these understandings of where certain things can come, like in this situation when Alice is right next to you and she's starting pressure, low is really likely, right? Because that's the start of a dial 8. And I guess defending, it's one thing that comes from a lot of experience defending against them, but getting this feeling of where everything can come from and thinking about, why did I wrong block that? That will help you develop that understanding, that feeling as well.
Yeah, definitely. So that's something Cat should keep in mind, or anyone watching this too. It's a really important skill. Okay, so moving on. Okay, Cat walks out of that. No real harm done. Spring Haze, movement to 1-4, I'm guessing. Ignis
spirits really low.
Doing a good job with those dolls. Oh, nice Seeker hit. I think Ignis could have cared with that as a
Actually, we noted down, we think Ignis could have cared with that, and later in the set we do see Ignis do the God confirm. So he does, so yeah.
He could have done it.
He could have done it here as well. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Ooh, okay. That's
At
another
this health.
very risky 2-on-4 at this health. Cat needs to really take note of his health when he does actions like that.
Yeah.
And looking at the life difference, even if it hit, it wouldn't have done much.
It wouldn't have turned the tables on off.
Okay, so let's see. Ignis misses the punish, unfortunately. That was a questionable J2A. But moving on.
I'm not sure what it's trying to catch.
Okay, Ignis uses Tripwire, which is a reversal. Invincible on startup, a bit slow on startup though. But the issue is that it only has a hitbox along the wires and the doors. We'll notice Cat is all the way up here when he uses it. And not just that, he was recovering from a kind of a blunder of flying over Ignis, so he kind of flew back. So he was kind of in a really distanced situation from what that would have worked against.
Yeah.
So a bit more awareness of when to use reversals, I guess.
Yeah, and you think like, and if you think about what Cat's represented for Okizumi, he hasn't really shown that he has really tight Okizumi either. So
yeah.
like, there's nothing like, reversals are very risky, obviously, but so you want to only use them when you're escaping something. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
And in a situation, because Cat hasn't really shown, oh, I'm gonna Oki you and you're gonna have to deal with some really hard pressure. This risk isn't a necessary risk to take, I feel.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. If you can get out without much risk of getting hit, you should just take that risk and don't take this high risk option, which could end very badly.
Take your easy way out with that.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Cat doesn't quite get the punish. I'm guessing that's just up to familiarity with that spell. Okay. So, what happened there actually? Ignis jumps into Cat. Probably would have been better just to walk away in that situation.
Yeah. After you've done a reversal and it's like.
Yeah, it's better just to block on the ground.
And you recognize, oh, they didn't get the punish. You just want to just make the situation clean because you've already gotten away with a lot, right?
Yeah, that's right. So good air pressure from Cat. Neutral situation. With 6A very dangerous. Cat gets a great crush string there.
Yeah.
Okay. So some character knowledge for Cat there. You can do a fairly reliable follow-up there. The easier variant that you might have luck studying for now is a 2B into a high jump, and then you wait for them to bounce off the 2B, and then you do a J236B for knockdown. It'll add good damage to that quite low damage crush you got there, and also give you a knockdown, which is really good. Okay. Okay, another issue with Alice 5A range there. It's important to kind of recognize that it won't reach and instead go for something like dash A or 2A.
Yeah, now that I think of it, I think that around this spacing here, like Ignis isn't really establishing dash A as much as
that's
it
true.
could be.
It's
a really threatening option.
Yeah, it's the main kind of threat you have in that blind spot of F5A, 6A.
Yeah.
So it's good to rely on it more, I think.
It's not something you want to throw out too often, but it's also alright as an Abari option.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's probably her
fast.
best Abari. Right?
Yeah, she's pretty lacking in that department, so it's probably her best option.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, Ignis gets pressure. Okay, that 236 was actually good, in contrast to the... Not to say the DA 236s were necessarily bad, but there's a real mix-up there that the opponent has to worry about. It could have been 6A.
Yeah.
So it's not a kind of as obvious of an opening. So yeah, that's not too bad. Okay. Oh. Okay, Cat gets the hit. Ooh, okay.
Goes for Oki. Goes for 2B Oki in a situation where he doesn't really have Oki.
Yeah, it's... I guess the setup just wasn't in the right place. He could have backstepped maybe, but also that... yeah, that Seeker again don't want to use it when they're too far from you. It's I think
Yeah.
better used defensively. If it was meant to be a default, which would have been a good place for default, just to make sure you keep track of what cards you've equipped. Okay, so... Oh, and if you want a kind of a laser snipe in neutral like this, you might have a good synergy running Doll SP, which is her other 2/2.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, so...
Doll SP kind of fits what you're trying to do with Seeker.
Yeah, all the Seeker wire kind of snipes would have been better with Doll SP so far. Okay. So, okay, Cat tries retreating there, which is... I think he could have pushed in. It's an interesting decision to retreat there, and luckily he survives, but that very well could have been the game.
It factors back into effective ranges. Generally, I think Aya wants to close the distance, whereas Alice, she wants to get some dolls up and then approach.
That's true, yeah. Okay, so Cat has a good graze there and lands the hit into a combo. You could have gone for a limit with a J5A J5B starter. That's quite strong in both pressure and combos, so good to treat that as your default option quite often, I think. Okay. And yeah, especially at this HP, it might have led to a KO.
Yeah.
But more importantly, a knockdown into the spell string. So
yeah.
That was probably quite an important combo to be able to... a hit to be able to knock down from.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, because of that, maybe Ignis takes that round. Good job, Ignis. Okay, so we'll see what happens round 2 of game 2. Okay, so Ignis tries to force an approach as Alice without any kind of cover.
This is touching on what we were talking about before again.
More
these inter-round situations and like thinking about what does my character want to be at the start of the round.
Yeah. It's definitely better to make room and place some sea dolls out. Alice isn't too suited to offensive approaches without any cover. Okay. Good 2-3-6 to repel that from Cat. Some good stagger pressure with 2A. Oh, okay. He very easily could have gone for a guaranteed crush off that wrong block into bullet. Need a bit more awareness on what spells you have in hand.
Especially as Aya.
Yeah, as Aya especially. And he does go for that J5B, which Ignis as always chicken blocks, but luckily his spirit was very low, so Cat gets the crush anyway. But yeah, definitely would have been better to go for that spell. Okay. Doesn't get that force knockdown, but Ignis takes it regardless. Cat could have gone for that 4-cost Oki, but I guess it wasn't a force knockdown anyway. Hard to judge. Okay. Oh, Hollandol, okay. Interesting card. Obviously gives you big advantage in neutral, but from what we could see before, Ignis already had his dolls out early on, and all these other dolls he put out didn't really lead into much pressure, though Cat did get hit. It was probably an unforced error. I feel like there's a lot more efficient ways to use 4 cards, or even that 4 card in general. You want to use it to kind of turn around a big disadvantage maybe, or force big damage in Typhoon. That would be a good way to use it.
Using 4 cards to get 3 dolls out, I don't think it's too efficient. Generally for dolls, if you're really paying attention, trying to slip them in somewhere in neutral is generally like how you want to go about it. And if you can do that, then you don't have to spend 4 cards on it.
That's right, yeah, it's a very expensive way to go about it, I guess. But I mean, an advantage is an advantage, it's just that there's probably better places to push for that. Okay, so we'll see, he gets the knockdown into 2-on-4. Interesting move choice there. That's unfortunately he sacrificed another medium melee to get that out, which seems to be happening quite often.
Yeah.
And Cat just basically jumps out for free.
Yeah.
And 2-on-4 is, again, not a move you want to use to initiate Oki, but rather something you want to use mid-string when they're being carried by Sea Dolls. Okay, so moving along. Good Seeker actually covered him there. If you can keep track of that kind of direction, it's actually pretty strong. Okay, good perks. Again, a 236 off string, but he gets that J2A. Not too bad. Again, you really need to go for those meaties, Ignis. And it also put you on this no spirit. Yeah, it's I think it's a good idea to hold back from those skills on Oki. Just Seedol and melees is all you need for now. Okay, so moving on. Very low spirit. Into a skill again, he's on absolute 0 now. Whiff situation, we'll see how this moves on.
The value though.
The value. Okay.
He got a free skill card. He couldn't use that skill card because he was on like he didn't spend any spirit on that skill card. The value.
I see the absolute value. But luckily he makes it out okay.
But yeah, you don't want to be playing around with that much.
Pushing in unfortunately he didn't get I guess he maybe expected on block and wanted to reset. Could have converted 236 there. Okay, neutral rocks in Diamond Dust. Maybe he really wanted to force that knockdown.
He got hit again.
Unfortunately, Ignis got hit again raw by that 4 cost into Dust knockdown. I think without a doubt that was probably not the best idea there.
Yeah.
You should either fly up and block to avoid her ground pressure, or if she's too close, just block. The pressure is hard, but it's a lot better than just getting hit like that and getting knocked down.
There's a chance you will turn it into like a messy hit that's hard to convert and stuff.
And you could always get away too, like it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Make them work for their damage.
Yeah. Moving on. Okay, Ignis gets hit raw again. Looks like he was holding 2 instead of 1. A bit more input clarity, again, mentioned before, but it's quite important, especially with direction. Okay, so another kind of blank situation.
Yeah.
I want to avoid doing those where you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ignis gets that hit. Ooh, okay. Movement 214. At least it didn't get him punished, and his spirit's looking okay. But yeah, it's just important to remember that it's quite risky.
Yeah, it's very risky.
Okay. Good pressure from Cat, gets the crush.
Oh, gets the crush, melee pressure.
Okay, into more pressure. Not a combo, but he gets the pressure reset. That's very good.
He doesn't quite get to capitalize with a full combo on perfect crush. When they're on low orbs, there's like this is something I'm still implementing myself. When they're on really low orbs, and they're like within crush range, and especially within perfect crush range, you want to really pay attention to every move you do, and you want to identify when you're inputting a move, is there a chance this will crush? And if there's a chance this will crush, after you input it, you want to look and see if it crushed.
Yeah, that's definitely a good mindset. You'll be able to maximize the return of the crushes like that. And generally, you can still kind of retain your pressure, even though it will end up being a slight opening usually. That there are often ways to kind of cover it up, so it's a pretty good thing to keep an eye on. Something Cat would have benefited from there.
Yeah.
Not to say it was a bad situation for him. He managed to get pressure off it. So moving on. Okay, staggered. That's good. Okay, that J5 was really late. Not sure if... I think earlier it might have catched. But you want to get those cancel timings spot on in your pressure, I think. Okay. 214 again. It's... By this point, it's pretty clear that it's just not working at all. Ignis would benefit from adapting at this point and just not using that as Oki. It hasn't helped a single time so far. 3 out of 3. I think that's a good point to kind of go, okay, time to change my plan.
Yeah.
Really important, as we always say, to melee with a melee. Don't want to invest too much time throwing these bullets without any kind of melee to accompany them.
Yeah.
And also, again, it put his spirit on nothing.
Yeah.
And 2 broken orbs too. It's a pretty dire situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the River Mist will soften.
Yeah, River Mist will soften. Cat putting out lots of bullet cover. Okay, not bad. Not bad. River Mist situation.
Yeah, River Mist just kind of happens.
Yeah, it's hard to aim your melees. That's fine. Okay, good perk from Ignis, recognizing Cat was too far. Okay, Cat gets that J5A, good hit, but he goes into B again off the 6A. Like I said before, you probably want to throw out a C doll or just even a 2-2 would work there. B just completely ends your pressure in mid screen, so.
Would 2-2, he did string into 2-2 and it went to the North doll first.
That's true. So I guess 2-2 wouldn't have worked there, but it would have offered some kind of residual support.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
but C doll is definitely.
C doll would have been a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on. Oh, and Cat gets hit by it. Very nice.
Oh, okay.
Well, nice for Ignis, not nice for Cat. Okay. Neutral. Cat's again dumping his spirit.
Like if you look, if you watch like for a second where he just glides over, like is he trying to input things there when he's just gliding through the air? Because his movement is like.
So he wakes up into B bullet, block. Well, else I guess yep, skill there, another skill there, and it disappears before reaching LS2. Another one. Oh no, he wasn't. He was aware of his spirit, but
yeah, he was aware of that spirit, but still, you're
need to not engage
in that
them
situation.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alice is good at repelling, which makes it worse too. Okay.
And if you like, I know he was blocking, but you're gonna get crushed, right?
We saw the exact same thing before, actually. It's very need to be more careful with those, definitely.
Yeah.
It's putting him on no spirit and just giving Ignis all this time to set up.
Yeah, letting Ignis choose the battlefield. That's an out of war.
Okay, great hit there, but yeah, J5B will be a great default follow-up option. Okay. Oh. Okay. Almost. At least he went for it.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. But we saw a kind of another free damage situation there.
Yeah.
Where Cat pressed a button.
Hit.
Yeah, he knew the C door was firing and just pressed 6C at the wrong time. A bit more screen awareness for both players, but Cat in particular is demonstrating that kind of stray running into bullets a lot more, so he should be able to gain a lot from keeping a bit of a closer eye. Okay.
Yep. Another high jump J5B pressure.
Yeah, it's need to wean off those, I think. Okay.
Okay,
he's got pressure. We're noticing here he's kind of pressing A as fast as he can. Something really important with these light 2A characters, which Cat isn't familiar with because he comes from Reimu, but you really want to vary as many factors as you can just to make it less predictable. At some point you're going to get pushed out, you're going to see they'll either have to commit to a 6A or 3A or kind of dash back in, but you can kind of cover that up a lot better and mix in more 60s or just forward walks into closer distance.
Walk resets is something that people like. They're really good.
Yeah, walk resets are very strong. IS graded it too with a fast walk speed.
Yeah.
But if you can vary the timings of the 2As a lot and throw in some walks,
make it more ambiguous. Make it harder for them to understand. You can catch the rhythm of your pressure.
More mix-ups, the stronger it is, I guess. It's okay. So he does go for that reset there. Oh, he does go for staggers, which is great to see, but Ignis BB's at the right spot. Some neutral, Ignis gets a doll out. Would have been better just a normal C there, I think, but that's fine.
A more immediate 2As.
Ooh, okay. Okay, misplay from both players. Cat, I guess, just misjudged the range of that 3 cost. I need to get a bit more familiar with it. But Ignis, I think, failed to recognize that it was a draining bullet. So type 2 bullet where your spirit gets depleted when you graze it. So he kind of chicken blocked, I guess in a panic, not quite knowing what was coming. And then he tried to fly through it, which of course used his spirit up. So I think on the spirit he was at, he would have been okay if he air dashed or even just ground dashed through it to get the punish.
Yeah, this goes back to what we were talking about before, where like if you see a bullet and you're not sure if
you want to
it's
just graze
or not, you just dash forward.
Yeah, he could have also F5A'd, and I think he would have been okay.
I think Ignis has a little bit of an over-reliance on chicken blocking so far.
Yeah, there's been a lot of chicken blocks from him. Something to kind of maybe
Yeah,
note in your future play, Ignis.
It's a safe option, but when you chicken block, you kind of you're kind of making the admission that they've already won neutral.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a last resort
And
defense.
yeah, it's like the step before blocking on the ground to minimize their pressure. But if they haven't actually won neutral, you're letting them win neutral by default.
Yeah, you're giving up neutral, I think. Unless you go into an attack of it, but like chicken blocking is definitely giving up neutral.
But that said, it's generally, especially in tournament matches, better to win on the side of caution. So.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so... Oh, and I'd like to commend Cat for going for the spell string. It's just that he needs to be a bit more familiar with each individual spell.
Yeah.
Okay, that was -3 for Alice, and on top of that, her 2A is quite slow. So the fact that they traded shows me that Cat was inputting that perk very late.
Wait, -3. Can you play the?
Yep, sure. So there's the DA.
Oh yeah.
And then
-5.
7F. I think that is the 7F gap. So it looks like Cat had. Not quite sure. Oh, Cat had 7 frames of neutral before he inputted the 4A. I'm guessing what happened. And that adds up, I think, frame-wise, because IOS is 7 frames, so 14 frames to trade. Alice's 3A, DA is -3 on right block. Yeah, it seems right.
Okay.
So Cat had 7 frames of no inputs there, which let him down into that trade. Okay. But yep, so he gets out. Ooh, okay, that J2A is not doing him any favors.
Especially here, like he was in an advantageous situation up until he pressed J2A.
He just basically forfeited any advantage and got hit for it.
Yeah.
So I need to be careful with those. It's not as versatile as Ramus J2A, so
yeah,
it's quite a gap, but you'll get it with time.
It's not quite as non-versatile as J2A though.
Yeah. 236 again. Want to go for that meaty, but he didn't. He probably expected an air tech, so in that sense, the 236 was pretty well placed. Okay, so Alice low on spirit. Okay, another DA 236. At least it went unpunished. Okay, Cat with a nice knockdown combo. Yeah. Sacrifices meaty for that skill.
Yeah, with a skill that you can use to level, you generally want to try and use it.
Yeah, that's true. He could easily, whenever he wants to do the 2-1-4, he could just use that card in neutral. So there wasn't much benefit to using the declare there to level it up, especially when sacrificing a meaty. So yeah, I think something both these players could benefit from is learning to prioritize meaties over pretty much anything else for now. Okay, so some lasers from Ignis, catches backstep.
At this long range, you could have gone in with a dash B to get that meaty.
Yeah, dash B would have covered that distance and given him a meaty, and might have also comboed into those C doors. So it's something to keep in mind, Ignis, and for Cat too, something to worry about.
I mean, you don't worry about it
until you see it. Yeah. Again.
Yeah,
can't use that when dolls are in the way. Yeah, even as a movement option, you're just he just put himself right in Alice's F5A range.
With such little orbs, even if it's not a punish, you're blocking.
Even on block, he's in real danger now. And it was a punish. Okay.
Yeah, he's just starting to get the hang of it.
Oh, again.
Another one, and another punish.
Cat needs to really recognize it's not doing him any favors.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Oh, Ignis putting himself in low spirit again.
Yes.
Just be careful there for both players. Something they both need to pay more attention to. Their own spirit, especially.
Yeah.
Okay. Good 6C. Oh, nice 2B. Good safe jump from Cat.
Yeah.
Could have punished the 6D, but still, he didn't get hit, which is the important thing.
Ooh,
okay.
That was really good pressure.
Yeah, a very good rejump pressure from Cat there. We just noticed that here there was I believe it was Sun Shower earlier. That's what our notes say. Yeah, there it is, Sunshine. So Ignis gets the tripwire and Cat backsteps. So he does gain advantage through that kind of scuffle. And it is Sunshower, so Ignis really should have tried to leverage that and go for a kind of a... I mean, it's not a bad choice. Like I said, F5A into 236. But I personally would have thought it would have been a better idea to approach more with a high-low mix-up.
Yeah.
Try to leverage that Sunshower. It was a scramble situation though, and that wasn't a bad choice. So actually, maybe it wasn't too bad. But Cat does win out that exchange. Cat levels the 236. And there's a great rejump J5A. Only 5 frame gaps. That's good.
In situations like that when you're in the corner, I think generally you want to try and 6B out of the corner.
Yeah, 6B is a good choice.
Situations.
I think he did B there and it got caught though.
He 4B'd.
Ah, 4B, okay, yeah. Something to consider. But blocking there is pretty safe too, unless you see they're going for really tricky air unblockables. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, well, the 214 failed Cat again.
Yeah.
But Ignis did a really smart maneuver to block it with that boomerang doll.
Yeah.
A rare move that immediately has a hurt box, so you can block it like that. So, interesting skill. Pretty nice to see Ignis running that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ignis doesn't get the punish, but I guess forces Cat to discard a Hungeki, so not bad. Okay. Yeah, another late meaty. Need to work on those.
Cat is doing this. Cat is doing this thing where he's meeting from high up, which is what Brooklyn was doing as well. Generally, if you're going to do like a J5A meaty, you want to be as low to the ground as possible.
Yeah, that's true. You want to maximize the frame advantage by doing it lower, as well as well, it wasn't a problem here, but better for safe jumps too.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cat gets a nice rejump there. Could have limited there, I think, with J5B, J5C. So we can see 90% limit. Just some combo intricacies. IS combos are actually pretty hard, so just good to keep it in mind while you practice. Okay. Decent pressure. Yeah, try to avoid that 6B cancel of 6A Ignis.
C doll's too good.
That was a good use though. It's airtight off DA, which is a big reason to use it. Oh, successful 214.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose most. Okay.
Another 214.
Oh, and he used the card to get that one too. As far as I'm aware, the 214 doesn't gain anything other than the standard damage increase after level 1.
Yeah.
So it's important to kind of keep that in mind and use the rest as fodder, I think.
If you do want to level 214, you want to level it once.
Yeah, at level 1 it's basically at max capabilities. Sorry if I'm wrong, I'm going off the Japanese framework here.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much merit, I think, from using the second card. So, yep. And, oh, and Ignis did put himself on low spirit earlier with his boomerang use. It's okay. Cat approaching. Okay, that one worked. It was River Miss too, harder to punish, so not necessarily a bad choice there. That Seeker was a bit of a miss, but...
go back a little bit.
I
want to highlight this one... There's this one situation where... Here, both players, the spirit count is so low.
Yeah, it's really low.
And they're both like still approaching each other.
Yeah, it's again, spirit awareness.
Yeah, it's not just being aware of your own spirit, but also capitalizing on your opponent.
Yeah, that's true. You wanna, if you have a spirit advantage, it's a good chance to close them.
Yeah. When you get really good at this, you'll be able to. You'll see that. You'll see. Oh, they're only on 2 orbs. And then you'll see them use a skill card, and you'll be like, oh.
Now they're stuck on 1 orb.
I have 3 seconds to play with. If I can pressure them within 3 seconds, I'm in a very good situation.
Yeah,
and
so
it rolls back to playing the odds, just like trying to tilt all the odds a little bit more in your favor.
Yeah, that's right. Any small step you can take to increase them is a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the game. Cat lands that 6-8. Okay. Good hit from Ignis. Boomerang Oki, I mean, he was a bit far out. Dash B might have worked. Okay.
Another boomerang.
Another. Oh, and that gets cat.
He didn't even
worried
have
up.
to. Oh, the god.
And it's heavy fog. It's heavy
That
fog
was
too.
so sick.
Cat got.
So if you look back, Cat it's like Cat is did Ignis boomerang before Cat did 2-on-4?
Let's see. So they fly up. Seagull avoids that. Yeah, there's the boomerang. That was way too late for a great.
So as soon as Cat presses that 2-on-4, he has resigned himself to the fate of getting hit by this boomerang.
Yeah.
The situation is in place.
And now Ignis can go as God and get this great turnaround. Now he has a life lead. Really good job, Ignis. And gets the okay. That wasn't as good. He again goes into a skill straight and forfeits the meaty. These haven't worked out other than the times Cat got a unforced error hit. So yeah,
which is actually quite. I've actually happened a few times. So.
Yeah, but it's definitely something that just need to focus on getting that F5A meaty or DP, and use nothing but C doors for now. No need to overcomplicate it. Yeah. All the skills tend to be geared to be used mid pressure rather than initiating pressure. So yeah, that's something we can't emphasize enough.
unless it's Diamond Dust and you have Marin alternate 623C.
Well, that's a different character.
That is the best pressure initiator in the game.
That is a very powerful initiator. JD is correct. Okay, so let's go along. Okay. Ignis getting some nice health back in that Aurora heavy fog. That 2 times J60 was actually not bad because Ignis moved away. I guess that's. Oh, okay. So the neutral 2-1-4s they kind of were explainable. Like you were using them to move maybe or graze 2 bullets, but this 2-1-4 here was just even if it did go off, the doors would have eaten it.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Definitely do not recommend that there.
Yeah, wake up.
And
it's
really
also overpowered motion. This is really overpowered motion you can put when you wake up. If you hold 4,
yes,
it's actually busted.
That's a really strong maneuver there. But interesting to note that I think the hitbox did come out, but because the hitbox on that's really, really small, a lot of characters can actually 4A it, so it's not something you want to clash with, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along. Okay, Cat gets some good pressure. Tempest. Good. Not best Seeker, but it's okay. Oh, Ignis really learning that. He's starting to see it now. He can see that
that's really good on the spot adaptation.
Yeah, Domination Dash is just getting defeated by these doors blocking it, so and oh, hold on, we just had a note here. Sorry, a bit earlier. Yeah, that charge C was a bit misplaced. It would have been better to leave them as normal Cs since Cat basically exited their effective range immediately.
Yeah.
And it was Tempest too. The lasers are gonna have a hard time keeping up there.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, moving on. Okay, good Hangeki. Oh, okay. It bounced back unexpectedly and
the cross up.
yeah. Not really though, but the feint maybe.
Yeah, cross up.
Okay.
That's like Urian on weapons.
Oh, and it's interesting to see Cat target the doors with 236. It does erase them in one hit, which is quite good. It might put him in a bit of danger spirit-wise, but I think it's not a bad choice. So moving on, good boomerang use. It's level 3 now, I think, so he gets that hitbox on the way back, making it really strong. Spring Haze, bit of a questionable decision from Ignis there. I think it's better to just play evasively.
Against somebody who can reposition so easily as well. It's
it's a more C doors because he doesn't have any out right now.
Yeah,
it's a great opportunity to disengage and get those free doors out. So okay, Spring Haze still. We've seen that. Okay, the J2A is obviously not the best there, but the B into 236 we've seen a few times now in the set. I think it's a decent defensive option because if they graze past the 5B, you can then kind of catch their startup J5 of J5A with the 236. But we're seeing a lot of kind of neutral situations where Alice isn't necessarily dashing into IR. And on top of that, Alice isn't really someone who's going to dash into your face too much. So I think, yeah, maybe turn down the amount of times you're doing that.
Yeah.
Especially considering what's been happening so far and as well as the matchup.
And what we're seeing on screen right now is exactly why J2A is.
Yes, the J2A. Notice the pain on Aya's face. Ow, please don't make me J2A.
Don't torture me like this.
But yes, yeah, definitely be more careful with the J2As. Okay. Okay, I'm guessing that was a misinput of 236. But yeah, it's good to place a seed wall there. And here as well, he got the cancel order wrong. He would have got those precious frames to be a bit better if he went 5C into the boomerang instead. And as a result, Aya's already pretty close. We'll see what happens next. Oh, okay. Domination dash. I mean, it wasn't a bad one because yeah, I mean, Alice did have the bullet cover. But yeah, it's not working out too well for Cat. Okay, blocks the boomerang. Boomerang's really good at level 3, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, great Seeker. That's exactly the kind of defensive
That's where you want to
Seeker.
use Seeker. Yeah.
Okay, so nice. Even gets that B tag at the end.
That was a good graze.
Okay, J2A worked.
Okay.
I mean,
I refuse to comment.
I mean, it's bound to work sometimes. I think it's a matter of balancing the threat of it with the actual risk.
Yeah.
So it's something you want to use very sparingly, I think. Okay. It's good. Ah!
Cat. Cat.
It's not working, Cat. It's not working. Okay, so yeah, I need to really recognize when things just aren't working.
Yeah.
Like if you put the amount of times it's worked versus the amount of times it hasn't, it's like probably like 5 to 1 or worse. So need to really recognize that and adapt on the fly. Okay. Ignis, a really good kind of repositioning with walks there. Nice patience.
Alice has a decent walk, so you can maneuver with it really well.
Yeah, and it
she
gets
plays
into
around
that.
her dolls really well.
Yeah.
Positioning with her is really important. And it's good to see Ignis leaning into that.
Yeah, but yeah, again with the Seeker, more defensive use would have been good. Just try to get when Cat's approaching you and kind of snag him in that field.
Yeah, maybe it would be beneficial to explain. I mean, we already have kind of explained Seeker's benefit, but the main thing is just so active, you know.
Yeah, it's
they're locked into the situation where there's no easy way out.
I mean, default's probably more active at higher levels, but the thing with Seeker is it has a much faster startup, so it's more suited to being like a kind of last-ditch defensive anti-air, anti-approach. Well, default you need to use more preemptively. And Seeker also, I think, has better confirms of it. But yeah, the main point is the situation you use it in. More defensive is a good approach. Okay. Oop. Okay, Ignis on very low orbs here. Oh, okay. Cat on incredibly low orbs too.
Yeah.
Again, both players kind of need to be a bit more careful there. So Cat just blew all his spirit there, and Ignis on no spirit 2 went forwards, which is kind of questionable. I would have personally retreated there, especially because Aya kind of had that advantage. She was already in the fight.
Retreat with 4-4 as well.
Yeah, 4-4 to keep your spirit intact. Let it recover.
Yeah.
Okay. So, nice crush. Cat's got a long way to go though. Can you make it? Oh. Oh! It's a present at the end of the round.
I mean, you want to make sure, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, Ignis was kind of taking advantage of Cat's reluctance to low block and doing some good staggers. That was an interesting pressure string at the end. It worked out for him, which is good. So now I believe the score is 2-1 in Ignis's way.
Yeah.
So this is match point for Ignis. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, so last match. Looks like we know who won.
You do have to point it out.
Okay, a good round opening there. Ignis is, I guess,
Yeah,
adapting.
Cat started utilizing. Oh.
There's another 2-1-4. Didn't get him outright punished. Nice 2-3-6 mix-up.
We're starting to see Ignis reset off of these 5As that
Yeah.
Cat isn't low blocking.
Yeah, so Ignis is actually doing a really good job here of kind of implementing what he's observed over the set, adapting in real time. We've seen it with the dolls blocking the domination dash,
Yeah.
as well as these kind of staggers that Ignis has started employing.
Yeah,
It's-
which
it's-
is not really conventional Alice pressure. However, because it's playing the player, you know.
Yeah, I
it's,
mean,
I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's a really important skill to have. So
Yeah.
good on Ignis for that, and hopefully Cat can demonstrate
always,
Oh, sorry, please go on, JD.
without information, you always play the odds, but when you have information, you always play the player.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good approach for sure. And hopefully Cat will start to implement some of the learnings from the past few rounds as well. Okay, so unfortunate misspacing. Cat with the really good re-jump J5As. Only
getting a lot
2F
of
gap
mileage.
there.
You're getting a lot of mileage.
That was almost flawless. Okay, so he gets the drops the combo. Ignis does get the combo in return. Ooh, nice Seeker.
Yeah,
That's another
a-
advantage of it. Can reach them really suddenly
Yeah, yeah.
if they're at that right range. Anyway, so okay, misses the confirm. No big deal. Nice. Oh, interesting interaction.
Yeah,
Oh,
he rips.
that was a good J2A after B. A really good, really good meaty there.
It
Not
was
meaty, sorry,
really-
4-4 J5A.
Yeah. He salvaged it into
Yeah,
a
he
meaty
salvaged
somehow,
it,
but,
that's right. But here it is again. He definitely, like we always mention, you don't want to use a skill for Yoki. That 2-1-4 didn't help at all.
Yeah.
You just want to, play it safe with C-dolls and a meaty melee. Yeah, he completely gave up all his advantage here, and he
Yeah.
salvaged it. Yeah, like JD said. Okay, moving on. Okay, really good JA from Cat, and nice 2v2.
Cat's actually starting to use
Yeah.
J5C bullets this round, which is helping him out.
Mm.
This is the pressure we want.
Yeah, this kind of staggers. Oh, and that's not the pressure we want. But Ignis gets out with a B. Attempts to catch it with J8A. Not a bad try, but Ignis was well out by there. Okay, so Ignis, again, better to see Dole there, I think.
Hmm.
Okay. Kept playing very cautiously with these 2-3-6s
Yeah.
and gets caught out with the Seeker. That's happened a few times now,
Hmm.
the Seeker catch out. But the important lesson here is that I think Cat needs to really use those Gust fans to help his approach,
Yeah.
rather than just throwing them out and hoping something will happen.
Yeah.
It's a very unreliable playstyle to just kind of depend on the opponent's errors.
Hmm.
I mean, the Gust fan does go along the ground and kind of forces the opponent to move, so at medium ranges it does kind of provide a cover. Cat just needs to really take advantage of that and combine it
Yeah.
with Aya's movement and good hitboxes to get in there.
Yeah, giving Alice space like this to set up and such, it's not a great, it's not something you want to do, because when Alice is set up with dolls and such, she has access to the Seeker wires that keep hitting.
Yeah,
keep
that's
hitting
true. It's just the longer you leave her alone, the stronger she gets too with her skills.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
even in the immediate doll placement, just makes her
part
stronger.
part of approaching is trying to find openings, not with domination dash, not with these Gale fans and such, but instead just using your empty movement to try and position yourself into
Yeah,
a
that's
good position.
a great feature of 12.3 probably more than other games is the focus on movement and the power that comes just straight out of the movement is really like that's the big defining factor at higher levels, I think, and what higher level players tend to rely the most on in neutral.
Yeah.
So it's something you really want to learn and rely on as well, instead of these kind of tricky moves like actual attacks. You'll find that movement's going to be a lot more reliable.
Yeah.
Okay, oh whoops. That was a strange jump, but okay. So, yep, Cat got hit by the Seeker, and he's air teched. Not a bad decision there, since Alice wasn't quite in range to punish it. Blocking now. Oh. Okay, I keep jumping back. Hold on. Sorry. But I know where we were at, so I can go back. Okay, we were here. Okay, so playing again. Okay, Cat went for a 2-on-4 there. I mean, the idea wasn't bad, but it was a bit too late. And those 2-on-4s just haven't been working out, so yeah, might want to be more careful. Oh, nice kind of juggle there. Oh, nice Hangeki. Oh, okay, there it is again. The skill ruining the Yoki. Okay, nice meaty, that was good. Nice sea bullets. Okay, we're at 14:42 now.
I'll beat that shortly.
Okay. Okay, so I'll play again. That's the nice juggle we saw. It's a Seeker that almost hit its mark. Good Hangeki. Not good skill.
We saw that.
Yeah. Oh, we saw that, yeah. Okay. So, decent sea bullet placement from Cat. Playing it cautious. Understands about that low HP. Gets that Gust Fan level. It's almost max, and it gains a lot at max. Seeker Wire 1 out on that quick
just
draw.
In time. Yeah.
Yeah, Ignis is the fastest doll maker in the West. Okay, so this is actually match round for Ignis. So yeah, and it looks like Ignis makes a good call and retreats on opening. Into lots of dolls in type. Good Seeker, good Seeker.
Yeah, good Seeker.
Okay, Cat's landing some good hits.
Yeah, just a bit of a slugfest.
But
right
Ignis
now.
is being smart with doll placements. That's a top priority. Ouch. Ouch.
Oh, taking a
yeah.
lot of damage from those two
Just
girlfriends.
more than
It's
2k.
It's such a shame because Ignis was doing so well throughout.
Yeah,
that
it's
pattern.
need to be careful of that. That's like Aya's big trump card in Typhoon.
Yeah.
The single big chunky hits which recoil her. Need to be careful of those. Okay. Oh, Cat with the raw spell. Again.
Yeah.
Not sure
this
why
is the
that keeps
third
happening.
time-
Yeah.
Third time Ignis has been hit by this raw. I don't think it's unblockable.
No, it's a normal bullet. Ignis was understandably low on spirit, but like even getting guard crushed, Aya's not going to be able to get a great confirm with the rocks flying around. So yeah, definitely always want to block, whether it's after
nice
flying
little-
up or.
A nice little creative thing you can do with your orbs is anytime you're low on orbs and you need a quick refill, you can just border evade. Like any bullet your opponent throws you,
that's
even
true.
in neutral. This is something that really good players can do in neutral. They'll recognize, oh, I've just used a skill cancel. I'm on 0 orbs. Woe is me. I can't play the game. And then their opponent will throw them a bone with like a small B bullet or anything, and you can just border evade it, and you get a full.
You're
free
back
refill.
on. You're back in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And in this situation, when these rocks are coming and you're stressing out, you're like, I don't have any orbs, I don't have to block this. You can just border evade. And you'll get a free
That would have
refill.
been a great. Yeah, and would have moved it up as well, so he would not
Be
take
harder
the full
pressure.
brunt of Aya's pressure there.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Air techs. Probably not the best idea actually, but it's okay. Another not great meaty, but at least something was there.
Yeah.
Oh, Cat, great combo, great combo.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Look, meaties.
The power of meaties.
The power of meaties. See, I keep telling you guys, if you just do a meaty, they'll get hit. They'll eat it.
Unblockable, completely unblockable. But no, that was really good from Cat, and he managed to keep his cool and take that game with a good combo. Okay, so this is now a 1-1. Cat can take this back now. Okay, deletes the doors, not bad. Typhoon is on the clock. Oh, Ignis trips on. Oh, the Gust fan is level max, which explains why Cat's using it so often. Just like we always say, be a bit careful on your Spirit Cat. It is strong, but it does cost a lot, using skills over and over. There it is. Oh, deletes it. Okay, Ignis gets hit outright. Diamond Dust. Oh, hits it. Okay.
Goes for another Gale Force.
Real shame he couldn't get the meaty there. Dust Oki with these spells he's got in his hand would have been pretty devastating to Ignis there.
Yeah.
And considering it's set point for Ignis, it's important not to let any of these advantages go. So yeah, bit of a shame, but we'll see how Cat goes from here. Okay. Oh, gets crushed again. Spirit management.
Yeah.
Gust.
More Gust.
Okay, it looks like his
No
neutral's
spirit.
completely reliant on Gust, and it's just deleting his spirit. He's kind of presenting himself on a plate for Ignis to just crush or catch out in neutral. They are like getting in Ignis's way, but Cat really needs to recognize when it has gotten in the way already, and he can then move in for the kill.
Yeah, exactly.
Just doing it over and over is just kind of giving Ignis time to react and reposition into a better place, while gaining a spirit advantage, because it's just not doing much when you do it over and over. But yeah, okay. So nice boomerang cover on Ignis. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that third one was definitely unnecessary.
I would even say 2 is a lot.
Yeah. Okay, and as Professor Oak from a certain famous series would say, there's a time and place for everything. Yeah, we're really seeing it now. Cat's just going crazy with that. Okay, he did go for the stagger. Or maybe he was just out of spirit. But yeah, it's Ignis does a good poke there. Hold on, we'll see. So, unfortunately drops the... Counts was a bit late there, would have been a combo otherwise. Yeah, okay, he was out of spirit. That's a shame. That's those 2 3/6s coming to bite him back.
Yeah, Oak was right.
Yeah, that's Ignis with a good poke, judging that spacing there in that danger zone. So very good call from Ignis into a nice 6A follow-up. Okay, that he did go into that 6B default, but he did kind of adapt and put out a C-door without letting it go fully. So that's an improvement. It's good to see. So okay.
That, so.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can't really help it if you're going for like a confirm, and yeah, as long as you have spirit to do it. Typhoon's on the clock, looking a bit dangerous for Ignis on this health. Hetex keeps the Typhoon.
That was such a big 60.
Yeah, that was the biggest 60 you will ever see from Cat. But it worked out.
Cat's like, I'm gonna... Cat launches off from the east coast of China and lands on the west coast of America.
It's just like, I'm gonna launch. Nothing can stop me. Yeah, it's a full screen J60. Power. Okay. Oh, interesting scramble. Oh wow. Oh, this is what we were talking about. This is really taking advantage of that. So Cat needs to recognize that in the Alice matchup, it's likely pressure's going to be initiated, especially what Ignis is doing with a low.
That's 4 orbs.
Yeah,
gone.
just completely gone. And he gets that sneaky high in at the end when Cat finally reacts. So yeah, it's both character and player matchup kind of adaptation on defense that needs to go on here.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so... Oh, really good confirm from Ignis, recognizing that catch there. Nice, he gets that knockdown.
3.1k.
Yep. Okay.
I
Um,
would recommend doing that overpowered maneuver I mentioned earlier, where you hold back.
yeah,
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
not quite sure if you wanted a high jump there or chicken block, but uh, regardless, it's just not working, and I think the safe fallback would be blocking.
Chicken block is 7 frames startup, right?
Yeah, 5 frames before you leave the ground and 7 frames before you can block, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so you're giving them a whole 7 frames to hit you if you
Yeah,
try and
and
chicken
if you
block.
do it when a bullet's already on top of you, it's a lost cause. It's not gonna
Yeah.
work. And it's a shame because Ignis has been doing these not very legitimate melee-less Okis, so
Mm.
a high jump would have worked all these times. I'm not sure if it's a
Yeah.
misinput, but yeah, it's both things to improve from both players there. But yeah.
It's a nice way to exemplify that a lot of things in this game are only as real as you let them be.
Mm, that's true. A lot of respect that you can generate in your opponent will
Mm.
let you kind of make these very suspicious strings pass. But
Yeah.
if the opponent calls them out, they can kind of invalidate pretty much anything you do with the right call.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of respect and punishing mind games going on. Okay, so unfortunately, actually no, really good change we're seeing Ignis here. He does go for a melee meaty on Oki, which is what we've been saying needs to happen basically for the whole set.
Mm.
So that's really good to see, but it's just slightly unfortunate that he went for 3A instead of F5A.
Yeah.
This is the spacing you want to F5A in, and on
Yeah.
top of that, on block F5A is a lot better than 3A. 3A is like something you cancel into off F5A if you want to, not
Yeah,
something
if
you
you're
use
in
raw.
range.
Yeah. Okay. But so cat flies up into. Oh, okay. He's burning. He's on fire.
Ignis is taking. I mean,
Uh,
Cat is taking a lot of damage here.
he's putting himself on one-hit kill range.
Yeah.
Yeah, flying at the sun didn't end well for Icarus. Aya is a crow with wings. I suspect it won't end well too. But yeah, so I mean, Ignis has also been blocking those Gus Gale fans when he doesn't need to. It's
Yeah.
something you want to make a habit of. Don't block unnecessary bullets, and I use that.
Especially skills because of the chip
Yeah,
damage.
the chip damage too, and you want to kind of use that time that they spend firing that when it's an ineffective one to just reposition and get in a good place. So yeah, okay. Moving on. Cat's on. Oh! There's the 2-1-4.
2-1-4. This punish would have ended the game.
Ignis could have punished with a 6B, but oh well. Again, definitely work needs to be done on closing games.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, Cat jumps in. He makes it past the doors. Gets a combo. Oh, oh, but Ignis
Drops.
takes it down. That's okay. Oh, cross up.
Meaty.
Meaty cross up. Meaty's 100% success rate. Okay, so Cat should take the game. No, Cat, no. What are you spell carding for? Washige, no.
Washige, no.
So I guess a bit of unfamiliarity here. That spell really doesn't do much point blank in
Yeah.
corner.
Would Dial would have killed?
Yeah, dial away
just did
combo would
dial
have dial away into like the basic combo 6A into something.
Mm.
But Cat panics and does the second spell.
Yeah.
Ignis panics and doesn't get the punish.
I mean, that might not have been punishable.
That's
but-
true. It does recover pretty quickly. So they're both on the
The
last their last
scrambliest of
legs,
scramble situations.
and the Gus
The
get
Sequoia snipes
the
it.
Sequoia beats out the 236
Yeah.
from Cat again. This happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that 236, it's a real kind of weakness present across the set, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that, and Ignis takes that set and
Yeah,
records a
which is
victory
an
in ladder
upset.
B. Yeah, it is an upset. Cat was seated higher, though he was using a sub character. Then
Yeah.
again, Ignis was kind of too, I guess.
Mm.
But yeah, so congratulations to Ignis. That's a 3-1 victory to Ignis in ladder B.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We're entering the overview section
yeah, let's have an
of this
overview.
chill Friday night stream.
Now it's a Saturday morning.
No, don't remember.
But okay, so let's start off with kind of summary. Why did Cat get defeated? What led kind of what could have Cat done to beat Ignis in that set, or at least increase his odds of winning?
Okay. The two big things. The two big things that really shine out. One more than the other, but both still are Domination Dash and J2A.
Definitely, the J2A is just got IR hurt.
Bad move.
Yeah, it does have niche uses, but not something you want to rely on or even use often at all in neutral. You're just gonna.
But the bigger problem is Domination.
Domination Dash. That's constantly present across all the matches and constantly getting Cat punished or at least spirit deficient.
As the opponent levels up, Ignis wasn't too consistent with punishes, but as the opponent gets better, it's only going to do more damage.
Yeah, it's going to just hurt more and more each time. So and Ignis was actually adapting mid-set to block them with dolls.
Yeah,
so,
Ignis was like really
that was really
switched on
good.
That.
Yeah, so you can see that even if they can't get the punish right, they players can do things to kind of work around it on the fly. You don't. If the most important thing is if it's not working, stop doing it. I think. Okay, so another thing actually that was present, especially later on. Actually, before that, we noticed a few times where Cat wasn't blocking on wake up.
Yeah, maybe
getting hit by.
Jump, maybe
yeah,
not.
getting
One time
hit by
he
these.
even just let go of the controller.
Yeah, that's right. He just let go of the controller. So definitely some things to consider there. Don't want to let free damage get you when you could just avoid it by blocking or high jumping out. Or even on your own Oki when you let go of the controls there. So yeah, that's definitely something to look out for.
Go back to the Friday night stream for the overview.
Okay, I'll put on the Friday night song. But yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, block on wake up.
Block on wake up.
Don't take your hands off the controller.
Yeah, and this was
two really important things.
This was much more present later in the set, I think, and especially once you got Gust Fan to level max. But Cat really needed to watch out for his own spirit. I think this is a habit carried over from Reimu, where her bullet cover kind of veiled the fact that you have no spirit left.
Yeah. So
it kind of helped her approach even though she had no spirit. But in Aya, that's really not the case. Even with level max 236, where it does offer some kind of support, it just isn't covering enough screen space to really make your zero or approach safe. So that's it needs to remember that keep an eye on his spirit mid-play. Don't let it drop to zero, especially with his skill.
I get that it does feel good to press, but
it does feel good to press the button, definitely. But yeah, it's need to be more careful. So another thing that was brought up later in the set was the Cat's play seemed to not really have a game plan. It was a kind of aimless in a sense, where he was just throwing out all these, I guess, 236s mainly and 214s, hoping Ignis would run into them without. We couldn't really see any game plan in that. It was just relying on Ignis.
There was a lot of like layer 1 play, and there was no real counterplay.
Yeah, there was not much adaptation, not much goal, not much plan to approach. Like we said, you really need to take that advantage that the 236 makes for you, or even just rely on Aya's movement to get in. Aya's strength isn't in bullet cover. With Reimu, it might be easy to get away with just throwing out tons of bullets and they kind of end up having to block or get hit outright, but it's a lot harder to do that with Aya. She's much more directly uncovered movement based, so it's something you'll need to get a hang of if you want to play Aya well. Okay, so what's
any
next?
Conversions would be nice?
Yeah, there was unfortunate combo drops here and there. It was good that he was attempting to convert every hit he got, but some habits like doing J5B after J5A would greatly help, and as Aya in particular, because her damage is so low, and her pressure is so strong, you really want to get that Oki wherever you can.
Yeah.
So the knockdown's really great to go for. It's worth just grinding out those combos versus CPU even in offline modes.
Speaking of pressure, he did a lot of it, more earlier on in the set, but he didn't really rely on Aya's strengths and pressure, which is her melee staggers and
That's
timing
true.
mix-ups and such, and instead he did a lot of high jump and J5.
Yeah, it's need to play to your character's strengths. I guess it's more of a generic string Cat was going for, but with Aya, you really want to stick to the earlier end of the council chain for as long as you can. High-low with 2A, 6A, and DB are quite iconic. So if you could kind of hang back on the council chain and just rely on those for a lot longer until you've depleted their spirit, that will, I think, really quickly make your pressure more effective.
Yeah.
And on the topic of pressure, better use of meter is important too. It's really great to see some pressure strings involving spell cards, like with that 2 cost I noticed earlier on that was there. And there was an attempt with the 3 cost later in the set. But there were a lot of situations where you could have used that to get a guaranteed crush and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's important to keep an eye on, especially as Aya, considering her spells are so geared towards it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is This is another one of the more broader one. You need to consider changes in the game state a little more, especially like resources and weather. How much health you have, what the weather is, and how much spirit you have.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
These are all things that directly affect the game state and directly affect the decisions you have to make. In Scorching Sun, two separate times, Cat was burning away like a lot of health.
Yeah, a lot of health was lost for that.
A lot of health. I'm not sure if that was a tactical decision to build meter, but health is definitely the most important resource.
Yeah, you want to prioritize health over meter, especially when you're losing. When you're at a health deficit, you don't want to make it worse.
Yeah, and you should tailor your game plan around who has the advantage as well.
Yeah, like the risk taking should definitely be lower when it's not going to have the same payoff. Like, even if it hits, you're not going to KO, but if it's blocked, you're going to be KO'd. So that's a situation you want to avoid making those risky moves.
When you're on low health, every hit is a touch of death.
Yeah, that's right. So, and of course your spirit, as we mentioned earlier, would help if Cat put more attention on that. Yeah, so, okay. But enough, I guess, critique. Let's take a look at what Cat did well in his gameplay. So his
when Cat did lean into melee pressure, it was actually quite good.
Yeah, especially later on in the set, he actually got quite a few crushes and was staggering quite well. Although there's, of course, it can be improved. Like we mentioned before, it actually was pretty good to see him go for those staggers, and it was actually quite successful. So that's definitely a good point. And another thing is related is that when he did use the spells, there was actually a successful spell string with the 2 cost, and he also went for that 3 cost crush. So it's good to see him recognizing the kind of situations where they can work and going for them. And it will only get better with more practice you go with those spell strings in matches. So keep that up. You'll definitely kind of narrow down the situations to use them in and get better at it over time. Okay, and another thing is the 236. I mean, I think it was pretty apparent that his deck was built around getting that to a high level, and he actually, it is quite hard to get skills to level 4 consistently, but a Cat managed to do it with his 236. So that shows some good awareness of his hand, as well as a good kind of squeezing in the card uses wherever he can. And I mean, although the way it was used wasn't very friendly on his spirit, it definitely is an upgrade once you get it to level max. So that's good to see him prioritizing that successfully. And in Typhoon 2, he really landed those 236s and hit Ignis hard. So good Typhoon play from him. I kind of can't directly confront players with melees as well as most characters, but that 236 is like a real ace up her sleeve. It hits hard and recoils her, so great to see.
One thing we didn't really mention when we were going over it, we did mention it here and there, but Cat was doing really well at reading the frame advantage of fooling
that's right,
versus chicken block. and he would get a lot of counter hits coming back up with it.
Yeah,
Those
the
rejump J5A pressure strings.
J5A4 into
physically look
rejump,
sick.
2F gap, 4F gap. Really
Yeah,
good job
I know,
on
it's
that.
so crazy to get at such a small gap. That's
So,
actually really hard.
Yeah, so that's really, really good from Cat in that
Yeah.
situation. Yeah, so I'd say that's some good points to keep in mind and kind of keep at it and improve those further if you can, and of course keep in mind the points that can be improved
Yeah.
and try to work off those too. So now let's look at Ignis. So did manage to take that set, and let's look at why he won.
Yeah.
So
even though Ignis is, and Cat as well, even though Ignis is clearly not exactly as familiar with Alice as maybe Udonge. There's a lot of like things here and there they don't quite have nailed down. The tools that he did have for Alice, he was pointing them in the right direction.
Yeah, there was a kind of really good effort with them, especially in neutral, to kind of, and pressure too, just not Oki, but in pressure and neutral, he was doing really well with probably the fairly rudimentary knowledge he had on Alice and what she actually does with her moves. So that was really good to see that kind of being built up on the fly in the set.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's really hard to learn.
So a really good job on that Ignis. And another thing is related to adaptation is he played really effectively around domination dash. Even though the punishes weren't on point, he started blocking them with dolls and really being careful of it.
Yeah.
And managed to avoid a vast majority of them, so really good job on that.
One thing I really like to see was he really like made a point of Cat's defensive habits. Like he would his 5A, especially at the end of the set, like you could see it adapting over the course of the set.
Yeah, it's the low
Every
block.
time he would like push it a little bit further, get a little bit greedier.
Yeah, it was
it's great to see.
Yeah, so that was really good. And when he was using the boomerang deck, he was actually placing them really well. Like you could see it was getting in the way of Cat very often.
Yeah.
Even if it was just to block a domination dash. And his sea doll placement later in the set was really proactive. And
not only was he placing sea dolls well, he was playing around them and they were already placed very well.
Yeah, that's a really
you could see
important
him leveraging
thing.
Seeker to get a lot of pivotal snipes.
Yeah, so that was really good to see. And I guess to kind of pull all that into one point is he was actively paying attention to what Cat was doing, and he also was kind of the time that he was playing defensively, he kind of used it to kind of get a gauge on what Cat was doing, get a feel for his kind of playstyle and his habits. And as we kind of said earlier, he really did take advantage of those.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest reason he was able to take this set.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really good to see from Ignis. Congratulations on the win. Now let's give him some points that he can work on as well. Okay, so the one we kept mentioning was he really needs to melee with melees. F5A works great.
So big, guys.
Yeah, this is
so
like
big.
the biggest thing. The skills Ignis was using for Oki just completely not working. I don't think there was a single time where it worked other than being an unforced error from Cat just getting hit outright. So like we said, you don't want to start pressure with those skills. You want to place them after they block like F5A, 6A.
Yeah.
Or DA even if you need to do that. So yeah, it's meaty is really important, especially as Alice, because she has a lot of setups. That's like a key part of her character.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, cleaner conversions. This was same as Cat, but it would really have gone a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there were a lot of kind of game dropping situations where not necessarily combo, but the ability to get a confirm of a guaranteed situation.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. They really do go a long way. So even small improvements like that really add up.
Yeah.
It's important not to neglect that. And another thing is related to Seeker Wire. Like we've been saying before, basically, if you're going to use it over default's going to be stronger in any kind of less scrambly situation, I think. Just because it has so much more lasting power,
Yeah.
so much more screen coverage, and so much more kind of strength on block. In general, I mean, there are places where Seeker can be better on block, I think, but yes. So if you are going to use it, especially in neutral, you want to use it more defensively as like an anti-approach bullet when they are kind of really close to you. If you can snare them in that net of wires and dolls, you're really gonna make it hard for them to approach you.
And that would work great for Ignis's playstyle because he is playing around his dolls like that.
Yeah, he is sticking around the dolls, so that would have really good synergy. The advantage it has is you can use it later than default 2-2, I think, and it will work as a kind of an anti-approach and counter-hit the opponent. So it might be worth keeping that in mind when using it, instead of using it at that mid-range, which most of the time he was using it in.
Yeah, although that said, it was used to snipe Cat's
Yeah, the
2v6s.
snipe actually was pretty effective, especially when Cat was right above him.
It's another example of playing the player is always better than playing
Yeah,
the
that's true. Okay, oh, and another thing related to Oki, although this wouldn't work without the meaties in the first place, but Ignis wasn't really using the spells that are really iconic to Alice's character, and that complement her main thing, which is the Okizeme strings, I think. So, like, once he gets the meaties down, he should really focus on just throwing artful sacrifices and return inanimatenesses in there, just to get that extra spirit damage, even if it doesn't end in a crush. Making a habit of it will definitely...
The chip is something at least.
Yeah, the chip is something at least. That is a good point. So yeah, that's something to work on with the spells.
It's a really big strength of Alice. Like, it's a big part of the character. So
you really want to be able to get those consistently.
It is a pretty daunting though. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it is very
it's
hard.
Something that is very worth investing time into.
Yeah, and in relation to kind of spell usage, I guess, Holland and Tripwire were the cards that we saw him using the most often.
We saw Tripwire twice and we saw
Holland once. So, I mean, like, they do have their uses. It's just that the way they were being used didn't really push the advantage they have.
Yeah.
Like with that Holland use, when he used it, he did throw a lot of sea dolls out, but he already had his dolls set up. So it wasn't really allowing him to regain momentum by placing more inactive dolls.
I'm just going to tell Ignis to remember the Master Spark here.
And yeah, he did try to push in, but I mean, even if the dolls weren't already placed, using a 4-cost just to get dolls inactive probably isn't worth it.
Yeah.
I think
dolls that you could have slipped in somewhere.
Yeah,
anyway.
there are plenty of opportunities to slip dolls in, especially when you master land council dolls.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it might have been better to use in like Typhoon to try to get them to get hit by it and stuck in it, or like when they're really low on spirit in neutral, you can use it to finish them off. There's a lot of better places, I think, to use Holland, or when you're like really in a bad spot and you need them off you. It's a good way to force them off you. When he used it, he kind of was in a completely neutral situation.
Yeah.
And so it didn't really lead to much. And those reversals too, with any reversal, not just Tripwire, you want to keep an eye on what the opponent's doing.
Yeah.
And get a good read on why it would be a good place to use it before you use it. Yeah.
If you're not under threat, there's no need to reverse.
Yeah, I mean, if there's very little Oki threat, you can just jump out. Or even block. But yeah, overall, we are happy to...
Oh, go on, sorry.
Overall, yeah, we're really happy to see Ignis seems to be heading in the right direction.
Yeah,
I'm even
really impressed with Ignis after
even using as Alice, which he probably isn't as experienced with, and also lacking some matchup knowledge as well. His underlying play was really adaptation based. Which is really useful and will take you far. And although Cat didn't quite demonstrate that same adaptation, we hope that after watching this, he'll be able to kind of put it at the forefront of his mind. Yeah, and when he kind of... there are times where we've seen him in tournaments and such kind of paying more attention to that and being more smart in his approaches, and although that was his Reimu, which is his main admittedly, he is definitely a formidable player when that happens. So that's something we'd like to see more of, even when he's playing his subs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that wraps it up. Is there anything you'd like to add regarding that, JD?
I think that's all good.
Okay.
I'm just happy with how you guys play.
Yeah. Okay. That's yeah. Me too. I'm glad to see that. And I guess just to close up this review, we'd like to remind everyone that TOM, our biggest major, Touhou Oceanic Major 2, will be coming fairly soon.
Should we announce the name? Are we confident enough in the name to announce it?
I'll leave that call to you, JD.
Okay, we'll leave it closed for now.
Okay, we'll bring it up next time probably.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's
considering a name.
We've been planning it behind the scenes, and we're also having an interesting little side event to kind of sate, is that the word?
Sate the need for.
Yeah, sate the need for an event before the big major comes along. So keep an eye out for that. Guess Who event. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, look forward to TOM, and thank you for sticking by this very long review session.
Thank you for tuning in on this Friday.
Yeah, Friday night. So yeah, we'll catch you next time, and thank you to JD for helping commentate this, and thank you for watching.
Thumbs up.
やりますね。
We did it.